money case against former President Trump in New York.
As former President Trump waits for a jury of 7 men and 5 women to decide his fate on charges of falsifying business records, he continues to claim that the entire proceeding is a conspiracy against his campaign and that he sees this case being discussed long after it's settled.
It'll be talked about in the history books. What's happening here is weaponization at a level that nobody's seen before, ever.
Jury members' decisions on each of the 34 counts must be unanimous to convict or acquit. If the jury cannot agree on any count, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg would have the option to retry the case.
Fox's Gernal Scott. President Biden is in Philadelphia.
As the gospel song goes, we've come too far from where we started. Nobody told me the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far, though, to leave me.
Campaigning alongside Vice President Kamala Harris.
They're using this event to announce their new initiative, Black Voters for Biden-Harris. That move to shore up a voting base that we know was incredibly important to them in terms of getting to the White House in 2020. And they know it's going to be incredibly important to them again this time around if Biden wants to stay in the White House in 2024. Part of this initiative and this campaign is making an 8-figure investment and engagement programs with Black student organizations, community groups, and faith centers nationally.
Fox Business's Madison Allworth. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito rejecting calls to recuse himself from Trump-related or January 6th cases, writing to members of Congress that the controversy over flags he says were flown by his wife is not grounds for recusal. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? The sound of your antique fountain pen gliding across linen paper as you journal in the park. And if you were here, you'd be inspired by the warm breeze. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. And the wind in your face on the road is all the inspiration you need. So if you ride, get a quote and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Now that's inspiring. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. How you doing? As our 303 with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports rec on tour extraordinaire. And the mechanical mangler at the controls. It's Flounder. And it's hump day, baby. And I introduced myself to the new string of summer interns. I think I scared the young ladies. Poor things. Anyway, they're at first I've seen the whole group of them together. And I guess they're probably all helping, working over the ball game and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, how you doing? 303, it's a beautiful day. Hot and sunny. Braves are they're in town. One more game, right? Is it?
I believe it's a 4-game series.
Oh, it's a 4-game series. Well, I'll be damned. Well, and now is a Thursday game? Is tomorrow a day game? I'm hoping not. Do we know?
I don't know. Let me check and see.
Just checking. Anyway, Pete, anything new into the mountains of Macon there, sir? A beautiful day.
Okay. I just looked out 10 minutes ago, and I thought the Gophers was out down by the creek.
Yeah.
Turns out, when I got the binoculars out, it was a hawk standing there.
Oh, a hawk?
And it took off. Yeah. A hawk, and it took off with a snake in its talons.
Oh, well, what kind of snake? I hope it was a bad snake, a poisonous snake.
I don't know, because it dropped it on the other side of the creek. So thank goodness it's the other side of the creek.
You couldn't tell if it was pure black or something. It was a racer, a black one, which are good snakes. They eat the bad ones. Anyway, and by the way, my phone, I don't know what you guys do the same thing. Every day, literally every day, I'm not exaggerating, at least once or twice a day, at least I get a picture and a message on my phone when I open up my Facebook page of snakes. And somebody says, I found this in my yard. What kind of snake is this? I mean, seriously, I mean, they get it all. And most of them are water snakes or, rarely do they actually show a picture of a copperhead or a rattlesnake or something. But generally, I mean, there's all kinds of snakes. They pop up one after another after another. And again, that's good because then you might do done. And again, leave good snakes alone. You want them in your garden or in your lawn. I mean, they're, black racers, those long, skinny, solid black snake. Those are good snakes. They eat the poisonous ones. Anyway.
We've settled the thing. Tomorrow is a night game against the Nationals, and then the A's come to town Friday night.
Oh, no kidding. Now, Friday night it's another concert at the amphitheater.
Well, you better rack up because it's summertime, so you're going to get a lot of those on the weekends.
Well, I got to figure out what to do, I guess.
Go watch your beloved Oakland Athletics.
Well, yeah. Well, if there's a ball game, that may be one smart thing to do. Just go over there and have something to eat and watch a game for a while and then go home. Although the other thing is, if after when I leave at the end of the show, it's before I'll bet you by game time that parking garage is mobbed. And so I don't really want to mess with every
Not
space
really.
taken. You don't think so for game time in this parking there? This one, it's hard. It's kind of hard to tell. Anyway, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry. Nobody cares about my stupid, issues. Well, it's just, it's another thing. Yesterday, 3 times within 12 hours, my internet went out on my cable TV, and I had to call Comcast, and they run the signal. I mean, it's just a thing. Okay, so I'm just, it's my love affair with modern technology. Thank God I can make a phone call. And they can zap that thing, and it's like, boy, it's so much fun to have the new modern technology. Just have everything so, perfect. Well, here's the number, 404-741-1230. By the way, we got some great sound stuff. We're going to a lot of Trump stuff, the trial stuff. I got a whole bunch of opinions on what the judge said, and I really don't have even a whole bunch of it yet, of all the information stuff, but enough. He did use the Kimmer rule. He apparently did tell them if you believe a witness lied about something on the stand, you have the right to say you don't have to believe him with anything if you don't want to. On the other hand, he also made some other comments. We'll talk about that. Also, Donald Trump reacts. We'll hear more Robert De Niro. By the way, what a slimy little scumbag he is. I mean, it's just a dried up old hosebag screaming and yelling. And what kills me is and we'll play it again later on, during yesterday's crowd eruption when they were attacking Robert De Niro with his so-called fake news conference thing, he started saying, oh, you people are saying bad words. You people aren't being gentlemen. You people aren't being cool. Robert De Niro says the most vicious, hate-filled things in the history of the world. And he complains that the MAGA Republicans were saying meany things to him. My God. Same thing with Dr. Jill, the cuckold queen. She's got her PhD in community colleges and cuckoldry. And she was saying it's between good and evil. And I mean, they're just the most vicious, nasty, lying, hate-filled sleazebags in the history of politics. And they're the ones who said, no one's ever going to say a bad word from now on in our administration. Remember those days? Anybody who says a bad word about someone else is fired. And they're the worst examples of mean-spirited talk in the history of the world. Insurrection, my ass. There was no insurrection. Anyway, 308, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. So we got a lot of that stuff here for you, too. Also, a couple of issue things we'll talk about. Hold on a second. Here we go. We'll talk about masculinity. And by the way, Pete saw this with Jerry Seinfeld, was on somebody's podcast. But
TMZ.
And by the way, well, it said he was honestly with Barry Weiss's podcast, and TMZ covered the story. But it's amazing. Every time there's some celebrity in the news, and it happens every single day, they're always on somebody's podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I was reading one today, Christy Brinkley, on my phone, popped up on my phone, or maybe it was on my news app, whatever. And it was Christy Brinkley saying she almost didn't ask the question that led to the fact that she found out she had cancer. And it was because she was talking about it on somebody's podcast. I mean, it's unbelievable. I guess anyway, I just thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, Jerry Seinfeld wants to bring back dominant masculinity. But I don't think he knows what that means. He's using an example that I don't really understand at all. But I think this is a generational thing, too. I bet you guys would more agree with what he considers a dominant masculine person compared to what I would consider a dominant masculine person. Anyway, we'll get to that. Also, the charges against Scotty Scheffler, that golfing scofflaw. Talk about that. We got a billion things here. Trannies and the nurses' places and the things. We got a trillion things. Yes.
You want to start off with some good news?
I do. I want very much to start off with good news, like we always do here with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder.
They're doing a remake of the Naked Gun movie.
Oh, my God. No, I mean, there's already been 4 or 5. What do you mean a remake? You mean episode 5?
They're starting over.
Oh, my
Who's going to play Frank Drebin?
Okay, who do you think should play Frank Drebin? Give me the first guy that comes to your mind.
Oh, Will Ferrell.
Nope, not Will Ferrell.
Well, hold on a minute now. Let's see. Frank Drebin.
See, Ferrell's a comedian. He's not really deadpan enough. You need somebody like Leslie Nielsen was, who's known mostly for serious roles with a deadpan face, who's proven he can do comedic roles, by the way.
Oh, I got somebody in my head, and I can't think of who it is.
He was in the Ted movie with the teddy bear. He's known for very serious roles. He's not American.
No, not Mark Wahlberg.
No, that's what I was thinking too, but that wouldn't be. He wouldn't fit in.
He's not American.
Well, just say it. I don't know. I'm driving myself crazy here. Who?
I have a special set of skills.
Oh, my God. Oh, no, he's horrible. Oh, the Mr. Hate America, Mr. Anti-Gun guy who makes a living murdering people and slaughtering people, and he hates Americans for their guns. Oh, he can kiss my foot. Please.
But I think, he did a good job on this one, I believe.
In 2 comedic roles, he's very good at comedy when he wants to be. He's got a very deadpan delivery.
I'd rather see one of the guys from Monty Python or something.
No, they're too old. They're too old.
I suppose. Anyway.
They're in their 70s and 80s.
So they're going to start over like it's the original one, and they'll have the boot camp and show up, and the guy's going to have the guy under the desk. And so, I mean, we don't know, I suppose. What they're now. What would modern? Of course, the original one of that was 20 years old anyway, right? Probably 85.
No,
88,
I mean the TV show was from the 80s. And they based the movies after that.
Yeah, but I mean, still, all the things that have changed in the world about policing and stuff like that. I wonder what the hell they're going to bring to make it a modernized version of it. And I don't know whether I'd want to see it or not. I suppose I'd probably for kicks. I wouldn't go to the movies if it's on TV. I'll tape it and watch.
Yeah.
it. Anyway, so are they calling it
the Naked Gun?
Oh, they're calling it the Naked.
Yeah, it's Naked
Police
Gun.
Story, the police squad. Oh my! Anyway, let me help you with that.
Nice beaver.
There you go. 312 with the Kimmer Pete and
When
Flounder.
he's using the bathroom in church and he's got the audio mic on.
He's taking a leak at the podium and farting. I mean, there was some funny, when he humps the Queen sliding on the table in the birthday cake or whatever. And imagine they would put this. They call this news. By the way, a little update. Just this morning, I find out that my daughter Jennifer has now received the birthday card and special. I swear to God, I mailed it April 10th. April 10th. It got there last night. So what's that? 8 weeks? I mean, 6-7 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Pony Express.
Take 2 days.
Holy
seriously,
moly!
Pony Express could have made it quicker.
I mean, I could have walked it over there in 6. I could have walked to Denver in 6 weeks. Seriously, I could have walked.
No, you couldn't.
I will guarantee you, I could walk to Denver in 6 weeks.
I guarantee you, right at age 30, yeah, not at age 78, whatever you are.
Wait a minute. I
6
can't be
weeks
78 years old. Who are you talking about? That can't be right. Who, me?
77?
No, 78? Oh, my God. That can't be right. I'll bet you I could do it. I'll bet you, if they give me time. In fact, this will be great. Let's do a live the Kimmer's expedition to the final bucket list to probably kill me. And we'll do a live and I'll do a remote like every afternoon. And you guys can do the show from here, and I'll have a live mic every afternoon.
Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
I don't feel like talking about this stupid idiot Biden. What a scumbag! Where does he get the balls to come out and say, "I'm not even going to play the thing on the war and the money for Israel"? Where does he get the balls to say, "If you go into Rafah, we're not going to give you the weapons to go into Rafah"? I mean, my God!
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on XTRA 106.3 and the XTRA app.
As you head to the lake, be sure to play by current boating laws. Georgia law requires captains to provide life jackets for every passenger. If you find yourself in hot water while boating, make sure to call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds from the lake to the shore. We can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Plus, get your application fee waived through May 31st. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Georgia and Georgia Tech have made the college baseball championship tournament. The Bulldogs head into the tournament with a 39-15 record, while Texas 31-23. They both play their first game in Athens, with the Dogs taking on Army and the Jackets facing UNC Wilmington. And the Braves actually won a game yesterday, beating the Nats 2-0. Max Fried continues to be one of the best pitchers in baseball, throwing for 8 innings with 6 Ks, and Marcell Ozuna kept his season-long slugfest going with his NL-leading 16th home run. Now, 23-year-old Spencer Schwellenbach gets his first start on the mound. He's been killing it in AA with a 1.81 ERA in 6 starts. For XTRA 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan, I'm Joe Virgin.
For more local sports, head over to The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM. And for the latest political news and talk, stick with XTRA 106.3 FM and the XTRA app.
Distance from Atlanta to Denver
Dead Man Walking
is 1,400 miles. Sorry, 14 by driving would take 21 hours. I'm going to write this down. Hold on. 1,400 miles. If I do 20 miles a day, 20 into 140 is 7 2s or 14. So it'd take me 70 days. Walking 20 miles a day, it'd take me a couple of months. I told you. Well, that's a little more than 6 weeks. Okay, I could do it in 8 weeks. Sorry. Anyway, okay, I'll forget. Never mind. 318, Kimber, Pete, and Flounder. You know, I used to run 20 miles without stopping. You know that, right? More than once. Thank you very much. It's a BB King. Who's Bob? Oh, sorry. BB King. Sabrosa Park, a small town of Sabrosa north of Portugal. That little town in 2010 on this day was renamed BB King Park in honor of BB King and the free concert he had played before 20,000 people. And he said, thank you, and name a freaking park after you. What's that?
According to Google Map, it would take you 21 days.
Okay, well, it's 3 weeks. And I said 6. So if I do 10 miles a day, I could easily do 10 miles a day in 6 weeks. If somebody could supply me with, food, drink, and a place to go to the bathroom, I could definitely do it. I'd be kind of lonely. I could need a couple of accompanied,
First of all, you'd be walking through the foothills of northern Alabama, which are not flat. Then you'd be walking through the Ozarks in Arkansas and Missouri, which are not
scenery.
flat.
Oh, it'd be wonderful scenery, though. Terrific.
You wouldn't get to the Ozarks. Missouri, you'd be gone. In Arkansas,
if you just joined us, I can only imagine what the hell what I've done now.
Roadkill.
A failed radio broadcaster succumbed today to some ridiculous
heat stroke.
They warned him. They said, you're not going to make it. The man was known for his obstinance and stubbornness. He died 14 miles into the trek. Hit by a bus. bus when he stuck out his thumb and decided he'd rather hitch. I used to hitchhike around the country. I've hitchhiked across several states in my young life as a teen. Oh, God, I'm right by the side of the road, baby. Think about that now. Holy cow.
They were scaring us. And by the time we were in the 70s, we were kids, they were scaring us.
This was the early 60s. Yeah, 61, 2, 3 in that. I used to hitchhike home from college. Anyway, 320, Kira, Pete, and Flounder. Our birthday list includes Riley Keough. She was just in the news. That's Elvis's granddaughter. Lisa Marie's daughter, she was in Mad Max Fury Road, one of the women being used as breeding stock. Also a call girl on the Starz show The Girlfriend Experience. But Riley Keough was the granddaughter who fought the closing of Graceland by that lawsuit claiming that she owed the money and stuff. And the guy apparently admitted it was a fraud and a fake. And he said, I guess we really didn't do a very good job of faking that she owed us money for a bank loan. They tried to pull it off because she was dead. They claimed Lisa Marie owed them $3 million for a loan. And because she was dead, they didn't pay it back, so they want Graceland, and of course they didn't pull it off. Anyway, happy birthday to your granddaughter, Elvis. And on this day in history, 1953, Sir Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay of Nepal became the first climbers, known at least, to reach the top of Mount Everest. When asked what would be their first thought when they reached the summit, Hillary replied, how to get down. That's the thing. They have to climb back down. They don't have helicopters. Think about it. How would you like to get to the top of Mount Everest? And by the way, that's got to be absolutely excruciating. The oxygen deprivation and the freezing and the cold, trying to, sleep in a tent on the side of the icy mountain. It's got to be unbelievably hard.
Not only that, it's kind of ridiculous because now there's a line to get to the top. Yeah. So many people do it. It kind of takes a little bit away from it.
It's a shame, yeah.
They judge where they are by the dead bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
They basically named the dead bodies.
In fact,
that's why it's called Death Camp in the Death Zone.
I just read the other day, it was another story about they have now decided that they know where a body is, but they can't go get him. They said it's impossible to get him, so the family's going to just have to suck it up, and that's the way it goes.
Coming down's easier because you're sliding most of the way.
Well, sliding is good. That's kind of thing.
Gravity.
I don't think that's exactly the way. Kimber, Pete, and Flounder, how's it going? Let's see. Oh, by the way, I mentioned this late yesterday, and I'm mentioning it early today. Donald Trump in another blue suit. I swear, I have never seen Donald Trump in a suit jacket of any color other than the one he wears every single day. The color release. I bet he has 100 of them. And it's a beautiful dark blue. It's kind of a royal blue cross with navy blue, and it's an expensive looking material, and it's a great looking suit. But that's all he wears is the same color blue. I'll bet if you saw him in a camel hair jacket, I think people would go nuts. Think about it. It's a costume. It's a uniform. He's never worn. I'll bet you can't find a picture of Donald Trump in anything other than that blue suit. He must have had a black suit at some point to wear navy, like blue, charcoal gray. Come on. Everybody's got different colors. I can't believe it. And by the way, I know it's a nitpick. I wish he had cut his hair 30 years ago or sometime to make him more in tune with it. The other day, when I saw him work sideways, he had a view of him going into court, and the wind was blowing such that, honestly, it looked as though there was a gold-colored Frisbee sticking out the top of his head. It just, and he must have so much hairspray on that. It's just silly. The poor bastard. When mine started going, he's like, screw it, just cut it off. And, at some point, you got to just say, come on, it's not you anymore. And so, Pete, it's the same thing. But Trump, I just wish, because now it's a thing, and it's just silly. It's distracting, and it's silly. Anyway, but again, that blue suit, I'm telling you, if you can find a picture of Donald Trump in anything other than, and wearing a suit, not on the golf course, but I've never seen anything like it. Okay, 323, Kimber, Pete, and Flounder, how's it going? 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Oh, by the way, as we go along, and I'll forget to pose this question again because we're going to talk about it at some point a little later. Ladies, Kimber babes, what is your idea of I'm going to get the official phrase. Jerry Seinfeld wants to bring back, quote, dominant masculinity. He said, reminiscing about icons of masculinity that wowed him during his childhood, traditional masculinity, dominant masculinity. Ladies, what is that? Who is displaying dominant masculinity? Is that good? Is that bad? Do you care? Are you offended by it? Are you nervous by it? Are you fighting it? Do you miss it? Have you ever known it? Ladies, have you ever been with a real man? I'm serious.
You volunteering?
I'm volunteering. No, that'd be silly. That's for some of the older boys and girls. No, I'm serious. Have you ever been? I'll bet you there. I'll bet you one of the reasons that. Well, I don't know anything. What do I know? I'm the biggest loser in the world when you look at my record. Obviously, for all the things I thought would work. But seriously, have you ever been involved with a real man? And do you wish you had been, or did it not work? Anyway, just curious, because as we go along. And again, open lines anytime on this radio program, 404-741-1230. Okay, now to the courts. And you're going to hear some stuff here in a second. You're going to hear Donald Trump reacting to this trial, the trial and the judge and so forth. And the jury deliberations, they're under deliberation right now until, I think, 4:30 today. And I can't imagine that they'll do this quickly. There are 34 counts, and each count has to be deliberated. Unless they all get in there and say, "Oh, well, he's guilty. Let's do it right now," or not guilty. Let's do it right now. But they have to.
The judge told them this morning they don't have to be unanimous. They can just pick and choose one.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to get to that too. This was amazing to me. And again, I'm not an attorney, but I heard a lot of them talking about this. The judge has ruled that, first of all, the crime was supposed to be that if he hid the books, he had to have done it with the intent of using his hiding the books to commit another crime, like breaking federal election laws. Now, that was the key, that he had. If he did something bad with the books, he's only guilty if he did it to further another crime. So it's a little bit complicated. Now, the judge said, here's the thing. If you say yes, he cooked the books, but then you can't agree on any of the charges that he was accused of doing to further another crime, which is a reasonable thing because they didn't exactly spell out what that was. But the judge basically said, for example, if he cooked the books and A, he wanted the money to help the election, or B, he didn't want the money to help the election, he wanted the money to do something else, or C, he was doing it for a different reason. Even if 4 jurors agree on one thing of guilty and 4 agree on a different thing of guilty and the other 4 agree on a different thing of guilty, it's unanimous. You don't have to agree guilty on every part of the trial. This is unbelievable to me. Isn't that automatically appealable? I mean, it's outrageous. Although he did use the Kimmer rule, and apparently he used me by name, which I thought was pretty impressive, where he said, like the Kimmer said, if you believe the testimony of a person, at least in part, was a lie, you have the right to dismiss all of it. And it's the Kimmer rule, and he did do that. But he also said you must set aside any personal opinions or bias you may have against this criminal rapist named Donald Trump, the insurrectionist who's trying to overthrow our country, and you can't hold that against him because he's a dirty, rotten scoundrel who should be in prison. But you can't hold that against Donald Trump. So again, that was kind of a biased ruling, I thought, by the judge with those words today. But here and now, how did Donald Trump feel about it, Flounder? I think he had these words about what the hell he's facing here with this jury after those judges' instructions.
I would say, in listening to the charges from the judge, who's, as you know, very conflicted and corrupt, because of the confliction, very, very corrupt. Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. These charges are rigged. The whole thing is rigged. The whole country's a mess between the borders and fake elections, and you have a trial like this where the judge is so conflicted he can't breathe. He's got to do his job. And it's not for me, that I can tell you. It's a disgrace. And I mean that. Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see. We'll see how we do.
Donald Trump. As today, the jury has the case. And again, I will say, again, in my own personal opinion, there are two attorneys on the jury. One of them is, one is a corporate lawyer in his late 20s or early 30s. He's a corporate lawyer, likes to hike and run. And the other one is a civil litigator who's a middle-aged white man, lives on the Upper East Side, enjoys spending time with outdoors and his kids. Okay, 2 lawyers on the panel. If Donald Trump is found guilty, it would be a unanimous verdict, which means the 2 lawyers would agree that he's guilty. If there is a guilty unanimous verdict, those 2 lawyers should be disbarred. There is no way that this has been an honest, legitimate trial. And hell, any layman, just watching the interviews with all the legal experts and scholars and professors, and honestly, every single one, even CNN and MSNBC, it's unbelievable.
No. The guy on MSNBC, a lawyer, just said this morning he has a man crush on the judge, and he is the epitome of what a judge should be.
That's right, and that's the problem with the jury. Juries love judges. Juries. And I've been on a couple of trials, and it's right. You tend to follow the judge. You listen to the judge. He's the boss. You automatically take the subservient role to what the judge is telling you to do. And this has been so biased. I mean, if he's found guilty, those two lawyers ought to lose their licenses, and it will automatically be appealed, and the appeal will be successful. Unbelievable. 3:30, Kevin Peyton Flounder, 404-741-1230. How you doing, my God?
It's time for your Georgia headlines, presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Drivers that use Peachtree Street in Midtown will find the busy road closed for construction for a few days. Traffic patterns have begun to shift. This morning, they started at about 9 a.m. on a portion of Peachtree Street Northeast to accommodate the construction at 811 Peachtree Street. The full road closure will be in effect now until Saturday, June 1st. Clayton County deputies have tracked down and arrested one of Clayton's most wanted, Victor Langston, who is accused of shooting a victim in the head on Jonesboro Road back in August of 2023, was arrested in a hotel in DeKalb County on Memorial Day. Officials say they found Langston with a loaded firearm in his room. Officials have not released what he is being charged with.
For more on Georgia politics and the latest breaking news, follow XTRA 106.3 on social media or download the XTRA 106.3 app.
When it comes to protecting your assets and ensuring peace of mind, trust the expertise of Nelson Eldercare Law. Our Absolute Protection Trust is designed to provide unparalleled asset protection. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to discover how our specialized services can safeguard your family's future and assets, offering you the assurance you deserve. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
It's getting warmer. Time to turn on the AC, and you're hoping it works, right? Are you sure? This is Jim Niarchos from the All Four Seasons Home Show. Join us this weekend when our trusted experts will be Keith Dobbs of Dobbs Heating and Air. Want to stay cool all season long without any problems? Listen and learn from a company you can trust no matter what the temperature is. The All Four Seasons Home Show this Saturday morning at 9, right here on XTRA 106.3.
MyPillow no longer has the support of the big box stores or shopping channels. Now they found themselves a part of the cancel culture. Because of this and the change in retailers, they want to pass the savings directly on to you. So they're having a $25 extravaganza sale. With the help of its dedicated employees, MyPillow now has hundreds of products, and some of them you probably don't even know about. To get familiar with all their other products, they're having a $25 extravaganza with the promo code BECK. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel set is, you guessed it, $25. And for the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size or loft level, $25. Just go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special square for these $25 deals. Plus, free shipping on orders over $75. Enter the promo code BECK or call 800-966-3117 for this amazing offer that will not last long.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on XTRA 106.3. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Really, what in the hell was I thinking? A couple of months ago, I was not sure I could vote for Donald Trump. But when you really look closely at Joe Biden and what he's done to our economy and what he's done to our country, if it has to be Trump, that's a better choice. Let's not make this mistake.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on XTRA 106.3 or listen anytime on the XTRA
murder, 5-month trial. He was going to appeal. He was given a sentence of 15 to life for an additional 4 years for the personal use of a gun. And Phil Spector was known as having kind of a violent temper, but he worked with those famous artists like Tina Turner, Dion Cher, Harry Nilsson, the Teddy Bears. I mean, he was a doo-wop guy, and, he was a killer. And they said he was kind of a freak for a long time, yes.
Got some breaking news according to Charlie Cook.
Yeah?
Just 3 hours after deliberations, the jury has come back with multiple questions.
Oh, well, that makes sense. There's 34 counts. And plus, the judge's directions about not being unanimous. If you find a second part of it one way and a second part another way and a second part a third way, even though you don't agree on those parts, it can still be a unanimous verdict as long as you agree that he did something. What a bunch of crap.
That's not unanimous.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's a Soviet-era show trial.
It is.
Is what it is.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, the basic beginning of this is the original charge of Donald Trump, this whole bookmaking thing, was a misdemeanor. And the law expired. The statute of limitations for the charge that they were originally going to charge Donald Trump with had expired because all this happened a long time ago. So the state of New York and the liberal prosecutors and lobbyists in New York got the legislature to pass the same law as a felony if the bookkeeping led to a second criminal charge. It would be a felony, and therefore the statute of limitations would not have expired. And they did this law, and I remember somebody saying on the steps of the freaking Capitol in Albany that this was done to get Donald Trump. Remember the prosecutor who did the big fat chick in New York who did the first one? She ran on the platform, the Attorney General in New York ran on the platform of getting Donald Trump. And she had the legislature pass the law to get Donald Trump. So the only reason to have the thing in the first place, to add a second charge to it, was to make it a felony so that Donald Trump could be charged to keep him away from campaigning for president, along with the other 3 trials he was facing. I mean, it's so freaking outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. And again, of course they're asking questions because they can't understand the judge's directions, and he refused to give them a copy of it. They do not have a hard copy of the paper of his instructions. So if they have a question, they have to go ask him. He won't give them a copy because it's too complicated. So of course they're going to have. And again, there's 34 charges. This could go on for 2 weeks. 34 charges they're going to debate. Unless they say, unless they agree, well, this is stupid. Or
I don't think it goes that long.
I don't think it goes that long at all. But it's going to be, hell, they only have 1 more hour and then they're off for the day. And clearly, it's not going to be today. And maybe, let's see, it's Wednesday. Maybe this week. I'll bet this week. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? And again, wouldn't you love to be in that room and hear those people talk? I mean,
no later than Monday.
Yeah,
no later.
I'm sure of that. And again, they probably would not work over the weekend. What an incredible! I can't wait to hear. When this is all said and done. What a story! But historians are going to have a ball with this last 4-year period or last 6-year period, 7-8-year period actually. Trump and Biden, and then the election and the scandal and the cover up and the DOJ and the phony Russian thing. I mean, all this stuff. Hillary. Oh my God! The historians are going to go nuts about this. And by the way, legal scholars, I guarantee you, law schools are going to be studying the Trump cases. All 4 Trump cases as a history for how to deal with the politicians and a legal standing, especially during an election year. Man, this is textbook.
We're going to play the audio here at some point, but Dennis Quaid said it the other night on the late night show. It's like he's been the most investigated person in history.
I have it right here. In fact, it was next, and he was up with Piers Morgan. And by the way, there's a bad word that we fixed. I found to make sure we didn't have the bad word in there. But again, I was kind of surprised when I didn't know that Dennis Quaid had been a Biden fan, or at least a Democrat.
I think like most people, it's not that you're you're just at this point you're voting for who you don't want in office.
Yeah. But again, it sort of surprised me because he wasn't exactly like Randy Quaid. Dennis Quaid's sort of the sane one. But anyway, he was on with Piers Morgan, and they were talking about Donald Trump. And Dennis Quaid has come to a decision for very good reasons.
What do you think of Trump?
I think I'm going to vote for him.
Really?
Yeah, in the next election. Yes, I am.
Are you ready for the blowback?
Well, yeah.
Which inevitably comes with Trump?
I think in this election, everybody's got to, I think they're going to take a side or whatever, but it just seems to me, it just makes sense. I was ready not to vote for Trump until what I saw is more than politics. I see a weaponization of our justice system.
Yeah.
And a challenge to our Constitution, us as Americans, that I don't think we're going to have. And, Trump is the most investigated person probably in the history of the world. And they haven't been able to really get him. People might call him an asshole, but he's my asshole.
Again, that I think that's a very reasonable approach. Trump's not my kind of guy. I couldn't be his good buddy. I couldn't want to play golf with him every weekend by a million years. I mean, at all, ever.
I think I'd play around with him.
Oh, I'd play around with. I'd love to do it a day, absolutely. Invite me to Mar-a-Lago for the weekend. I'm in. I mean, but I wouldn't want to live next door to him and go over to his house every Saturday for a barbecue and meet him on the Sunday on the golf course.
As we talked earlier about Seinfeld, do you consider President Trump a dominant male personality?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'd have to.
Alpha male.
Absolutely. Yeah. But again, there's a lot of things. Well, let's talk about, we'll get to that a little bit later on. But again, Dennis Quaid has said, I think, a very reasonable thing. And by even more than that, how could you possibly vote to continue what we're going through right now? I mean, seriously. I mean, they're not being real when Democrats say we want to continue his programs. That Donald Trump is the danger. And by the way, I'm so freaking sick of that attacking that we MAGA Republicans are a danger to democracy and a danger to our country. Them's fighting words as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, and guys like De Niro. Oh my God!
Bill Maher just attacked Sarah Bernhardt, the washed-up comedian who's Jewish, and she was once again going, "Oh, the right's after hates Jews and anti-Semites." He goes, "Hold on a second, it's all coming from the left, not the right."
Yeah. That's right. Well, again, but they don't even care. It doesn't matter if they can say anything against MAGA Republicans. They'll say it. And they're like, hell, it's the same reason Biden's still saying that inflation was 9% when he took office. I mean, they're just saying the big lie. They're changing everything. They keep saying it, and therefore somebody's going to be believing it. I just can't imagine anybody. I can't imagine middle America. I can't imagine mom, dad, a couple of kids in a suburb somewhere or in the inner city, anywhere else, working for a living, trying to make ends meet, who could go to the poll and say, boy, we got to keep this guy in office because I really love the way things America is going right now. I mean, do you know anyone who would feel that way? Seriously. Who would say, boy, I just can't wait to keep this guy going. This guy? This team? Seriously. Well, let's save the De Niro thing for the.
The only way they keep this guy is if they want America to fail. If they want to drag us down to a second world power, that's the plan.
It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing compared to Donald Trump that's better today. What's better today? Pick any topic: economy, energy, culture, gender, military strength, worldviews. Wars. I mean, pick any freaking topic, and compare it to 4 years ago, and tell me what's better. Anyone.
The one thing that may tilt the election: when Trump was in office, the Big Mac was $3. Now it's $8 for a Big Mac.
In fact, I'm glad you said that. I have on my
people see that every day when they go to McDonald's. Holy cow!
Remember the other day I got it right here. I swear to God.
You shouldn't eat at McDonald's. It's pretty gross.
Well, there you are. I have my chart here. I have my chart here from the other day to show the price differences between the last week of Donald Trump and the beginning and currently from the last week of Donald Trump to today. McDonald's. Let's see. McDonald's McChicken was $1.29 under Trump. It's now $3.89. That's an increase of 201%. Taco Bell. Had their beefy 5-layer burrito was $1.69 under Trump. It's now $3.69. That's 118% increase. And let's do Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, my friends, the medium waffle fries were $1.65. Now they're $2.99. That's 82% higher. And one more, the Chick-fil-A nuggets were $3.05. Now they're $6. That's 96% increase. Everything is up. Gasoline. I mean, pick one. There's nothing they can you can't pick a topic and have it come out better.
Brendan's on the phone. He wants to comment on this.
Brendan, you're on the radio, man. Thanks for calling us with the Kipper, Pete, and Flounder. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll probably have to vote for Trump this year, but are you guys completely blind to the fact that Trump and Kushner and Mnuchin and all those guys obliterated our country over COVID? That's what he trashed us over, and that is what has decimated downtown Atlanta and all our downtowns. Like, ignore that. I'm not saying
over COVID? What are you talking about? What did Trump have to do with COVID, other than trying to save America? And they laughed at him with the ivermectin and stuff. What are you talking about?
Are you completely forgetting that he attacked our own governor when our governor opened our state, Kimmer?
Please. Nobody knew what to do back then, and nobody knew what the right thing was. The governor made bad decisions as well. Nobody knew anything about that. You can't blame Donald Trump. So you didn't like Donald Trump talking about our governor, and that's the reason you think he was responsible for COVID? What did he have to do with shutting down Atlanta? What did Donald Trump have to do with making Atlanta a worse place to live? Our governor made it a worse place to live. He's the one living here. So, I mean, what are you talking about? What did Trump have to do with Atlanta being in bad shape because of COVID?
He attacked Governor Kemp.
What does he have to do with anything involving Atlanta and COVID? Well, so he attacked Governor Kemp. Oh, well, okay, so move on. What next? He said bad things about Kemp. Kemp says crappy things about the President of the United States. How do you think the governor should be reacting to the President of the United States? Slamming him in the back, calling him names, turning people against him? My God. Talk about no loyalty. Of course you attacked him back.
Kimmer, this is where people of your age don't understand how angry younger parents are, because you did not see little kids on school buses for 2.5 years under federal mask
please.
laws.
Oh, my God. Yeah. You poor baby. You had such a hard life. What are you talking about? I've got children. I've got grandchildren. My daughter's a freaking teacher in the public school system. I know more. I bet I know more about this than you do. And plus, I've been in the news where we cover all these things. You may have an opinion of what you see next door in your neighborhood and when you're driving to the mall or something, but we do this for a living. And I'm telling you that to try to blame Donald Trump for what happened in the city of Atlanta because of COVID is ridiculous. You're just looking for another reason to bash Donald Trump.
Brother,
everybody made mistakes at the beginning.
You don't need to worship the guy.
I don't worship him. I think he's an idiot. I think he's a goof. He's not my kind of guy, but he was one of the greatest presidents we've ever had, and he will do the right thing. Oh, well, let me ask you this. Are you in favor of open borders? Yes, you are. Are you in favor of gender changing of children? Yes, you are. If you vote for this guy, if you vote for this administration, you're in favor of open borders. You're in favor of a gender changing of little boys without their parents knowing. You're in favor of little boys playing on girls' teams. You're in favor of changing Title IX. You're in favor of all those things that are allowing you're in favor of closing our energy system, going all electric, shutting down the gas and oil pipelines. You're in favor of all that stuff. You're in favor of all this aid to Ukraine. You're in favor of all these Democrat policies if you vote for Biden.
I'm not voting for Biden. I'm telling you, you've got to be aware of why people have good reasons to show that Trump failed.
Trump didn't fail. The nation. Well, anyway. All right. Thank you, Brandon. I got to go. Believe me. See, now you're changing your mind and say, well, it was Trump failed, but you're going to vote for him. No, what are you talking about?
It was the Democrats that kept everything closed long after, and the only people responsible for Atlanta sucking are Atlantans.
Yeah, exactly. A Democrat city and a Democrat county. Blaming Trump for that? Oh, please. God, nice try, though. 349, Kimber, Pete, and Flounder. Jeez.
Pay forever.
Wow.
The latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust. Your best new follow on social media is XTRA 106.3. We're at XTRA 106.3 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at XTRA 106.3 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Hear that? That's the sound of the annual Duck Puck event, supporting Special Olympics Georgia athletes, and we need your help. Adopt a cute rubber duck today for just $10, and all proceeds will help provide everything from meals to housing for our Georgia athletes at the state games. So adopt your duck today at duckrace.com/Atlanta.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to The Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on XTRA 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
It's May 29th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Paperclip Day. The paperclip remains the unsung hero of the office supply closet. Not simply a means to hold papers together, paperclips can also act as a cheap and quick way to hem an article of clothing, or can be a creative outlet for an amateur jewelry maker who likes making bracelets or necklaces. Also on this date, in 1790, Rhode Island became the last of the 13 original colonies to ratify the U.S. Constitution. In 1942, the film based on the life of American composer George M. Cohen, Yankee Doodle Dandy, starring James Cagney, premiered in New York City.
I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart.
Cagney did his own singing and dancing in the movie. If it's your birthday today, you share it with American race car driver Al Unser Sr., born in 1939. He gave himself the best present anyone can think of in 1971, defending his Indy 500 title to become the first driver to win the famed race on their birthday. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Monday through Saturday, we're right. But on Sunday, we turn left.
NASCAR, if the track is clear, they will let them finish. We are still green.
Well, here they come. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We've seen a lot of passes.
Crimson little flag, checkered flag, waving it's over. The taste of long-awaited victory will be his. Checkered flag.
Your home of NASCAR is XTRA 106.3.
352. How's it going? Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. 404-741-1230. This does not sound like Snoop Doggy Dogg. But on this day, 1997.
This is Iron Butterfly. It should be on your sheet.
Well, by golly, I'm glad you said that because I escaped it for some reason here.
It was right next to Snoop
right
Dogg.
under Snoop Dogg. That's clearly clearly the Kimmers made an error. Shut up. I was so close. Now I have to get serious. 1999, the skeletal remains were sorry. They found the skeleton in an old car wreck at the bottom of Decker Canyon near Malibu, California on this day in 1999. Forensic evidence showed the remains were Philip Kramer, former bass player with rock group Iron Butterfly. He had disappeared on his way home from work in February of 1995, and 4 years later, they rule his death a probable suicide, that he drove off the cliff. I don't know how they could, unless there was a notice. Anyway. Our birthday list included this. We played this guy the other day, Daniel Tosh. He did the show Tosh Point. Oh, that's what I remembered it from. That was a big thing for a while on cable, or on. I also used to get it on my XM radio. I don't get it anymore because it's more expensive. But anyway, Daniel Tosh is 49. Comedy Central's Tosh Point. And also we'll have Flounders Funnies for Nucky's Hoagies coming up here shortly. And 2 phone calls first. And on this day in history, congratulations to Cindy Crawford and Randy Gerber. They got married on this day in 1998, 26 anniversary years. Her first husband was Richard Gere, who had some naughty habits that apparently used to keep her in the dark, I guess, of a couple. They were married like 4 years or something, and with Richard Gere, and then she got the real guy for 26. So happy anniversary.
Sure is dark in here.
Excuse me. 350. To the phones, it's Swatoon. Bill coming up. Hello, Swatoon. You're on the radio. What do you think? I get that ring wrong with Bill, with Brandon there, or what?
This is Bill. Can you hear?
Oh, hi, Bill. I'm sorry. I thought we had Swatoon. Yes, sir. Bill, you're on the radio.
We got Swatoon.
Oh, we got Swatoon. I'm sorry. We now have Swatoon and Bill together. All together. Hey, hi, how you doing? Sorry. Well, whoever this is, Swatoon. Hey, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, we are same people from different mothers, Anyway.
Yes, sir.
About this guy who was telling about Trump.
Yeah.
He was right and he was wrong. Remember, Trump was just telling what that fettucci cheese, whatever his name is, was telling him.
Yeah.
And the second, about your hike to Denver, if you do that, man, I'm going to take 2 weeks off and I'm going to join you. And you're going to be like a Forrest Gump.
Hey, by the way, how funny would that be? I mean, wouldn't you love to? I mean, oh my God! If I were retired in
Kimmer, that would also help your ratings. I mean, you'd be, famous.
Yeah, tune in every day.
Gone.
Absolutely.
He'd be gone for 3 weeks. Yeah.
Well, I'd be checking in. They would go up to see what he's up to.
You need to do that for Flounder and Pete.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me know.
All right, Swatu. Thanks, man. I'll keep that in mind. And Bill, I hope Bill's still there. Bill, I didn't mean to cut you off. My friend, you're on the radio. What's up?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. You're doing great.
So the clown that just got off the phone commented, he said something about, I'll paraphrase it, but that Trump was responsible for closing the school bus system for 2.5 years. Now, he was in office for arguably maybe 11 months of the first 11 months of COVID. How is he responsible for, after Biden took over, for the balance of those 2.5 years? I mean, he goes, you old guys don't understand what us young guys do.
Give me a break. And if it isn't racism and now it's ageism, all of a sudden now I'm not qualified to know about children and events that are happening. And by the way, for the record, let's remember it was a freaking Democrats. It was not Donald Trump who said, hey, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you go ahead and stay home and we'll give you federal money to go ahead and stay home and not do anything. That was the Democrat plan. The Democrats kept that going. The Democrats said, oh, we need trillions of dollars for this and trillions of dollars for that. That's why we have inflation. That's why the economy's in terrible shape. It was not from Donald Trump 6 years ago. My God. I mean, the nerve of these people. They'll do anything to blame Donald Trump. Even if they're going to vote for him, they still want to hate him for some reason.
Mortgage rates were at 3 to 3.5% when Trump was in office. They are like 6.5 to 7% now. Yeah. They've taken everybody out of the American dream.
Yeah, and again, housing prices. There were people. If you're a married couple and you a man and woman and maybe have one kid or something, and you both make $80,000 or $90,000 a year, you can't afford to buy a house. You probably can't afford to buy a house. I mean, I don't know. It's freaking freaky. Bill, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. 357. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it with the Flounder Kim that thing on 106.3. A little Lucky's Hope. Oh, here we go. A little something funny.
I take my son up to the classroom. I see an Asian guy, Asian father. Look at how quiet it got on Asian father. Can you believe that? I said, Asian father. Everybody in the room, their ass just tightened up. Oh, wait, guy, where are we going with this? We're looking at the class, and he points out his son. It's the only Asian kid in the class. He's like, that's my boy. I'm like, I know. You got people in this room looking up here going, you are so closed-minded. Don't you think there's other possibilities? Don't you think maybe the Asian father adopted the black child and the black father adopted the Asian child? I said, listen, if I'm putting money on who this Asian kid's going home with, it's this guy. All right? Put $100 on the table. I want to see how PC you get. Where I'm from, these two came in the same car.
Who's that? Flopper?
Sebastian.
Maniscalco.
That's him.
He was an actor. He was in a Robert De Niro movie.
He's been in a couple movies.
Yeah, he played a gangster's kid and stuff. Yeah, and he's funny. He's real like the Philadelphia, New York guy.
New York. Yeah, he's definitely got that.
And by the way, this is a great funny story that Pete just sent down. A guy with a suspended license had to do a Zoom call to go to court to clear up the whole thing. So he's on his Zoom call, and he can seem a little dumbfounded. The judge named Cedric Simpson said, Mr. Harris, are you driving? And Mr. Harris said, actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office. Can you hold on a second, Judge? Give me a second, Judge. He was being suspended license, and he was driving to the doctor while he was on the Zoom call. And so guess what? His bond's been revoked, and the judge said, you're going to jail right now. Ann Arbor, Michigan, sent him right to jail. What an idiot. He's on the Zoom call to the judge for a suspended license while he's driving, and then says, the fun part, Judge, give me a second. I'm pulling into the doctor's office. Give me a second here. I'll get right back to you. It's like, when a cop pulls you over and you roll down the window and says, hey, give me a break. I'm on the phone. Coming up on 4 o'clock with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and it's only Wednesday. Oh, mercy.
Extra from 6 to 10 a.m. and The Kimmer Show from 3 to 6 p.m. Only on WFOM and W292EV Marietta. Extra 106.3 FM.
Notes from the jury on Lisa Brady, Fox News. After less than 4 hours of deliberations in the former president's New York trial, the jury sent a note to the judge asking to rehear testimony about a 2015 meeting at Trump Tower.
The jury has 3 questions about David Pecker's testimony and 1 on Michael Cohen's testimony from that Trump Tower meeting where prosecutors alleged that this conspiracy began, where David Pecker, the former CEO of American Media, promised to be the eyes and ears of the Trump campaign and to promote positive stories about former President Donald Trump and to suppress negative stories about him, and also to publish negative stories about his opponents, including former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton at the time. This is key because this is one of the few moments where Trump is accused of directly being involved.
Fox's Nate Foy at the courthouse. The former president's charged with falsifying business records as part of an effort to unlawfully influence the 2016 election. To convict, the judge says they have to find the former president intended to do at least one unlawful activity, either a federal campaign violation, creation of additional false records, or a tax law violation. Just getting word the jury is also asking to hear some instructions again. After hearing the judge's initial instructions this morning, the former president telling reporters,
"It's a disgrace, and I mean that. Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see. We'll see how we do."
Meantime, President Biden reaching out to black voters in a key swing state, Pennsylvania.
Black voters place enormous faith in me. I've tried to do my best to honor that trust, staying true to the values set that we share.
In Philadelphia, vowing to make former President Trump a loser again and launching a new campaign program to engage black voters as polls show support slipping after more than 90% backed the Biden campaign 4 years ago. The Dow down 411 at the bell. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive knows when you own a boat, life on land is a tough sell.
Come on down to Land, where you can do things like clean your gutters, pay tolls, and even get the wrong thing you ordered. We got it all. Potholes, people talking at the movies, and don't forget about flat tires when it's raining. It's Land.
Life on a boat is way more relaxing, so customize your coverage with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. And relax knowing you got the coverage you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 rating based on 2022 boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold right now. Message and data rate may apply.
All right, here we go. Stand by. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. Pete Davidson, Flounder. 403. Here's the number.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being
Iron Butterfly with a no, it's not. Silly. It's teasing you. It's driving. Keep it funky with my shorty.
Kick a little something for the G's. Make a few ends as I
making up the woods.
2 in the morning and the party still
we can do this. We can do this.
I got some freaks in the living room
getting
it
the phone. I can take the wood because he doesn't hit the song. I'm saying the same thing he is.
I got a pocket full of rubbers in my
pocket full of rubbers.
That's
what he said. And by the way, no one said that phrase for 50 years. It suddenly turned into condom. I'd never heard the word condom until I was like 50.
It's an ugly word.
Yeah. You know,
rubber's better.
Rubber. Go to the store and get a pack of rubber. I mean, that was, Anyway, 404. Again, as an old person, like Brandon said, I'm really too old to be able to talk about, things with people. I'm just, so that's the thing. Anyway, Snoop Dogg, 1997, Sharitha Knight filed a lawsuit in court claiming she was owed $1 million as Snoop Dogg's personal manager in the 90s. The claim alleged that Snoopity Snoop had withheld the 20% that she got as manager. 20%. Wow, I think I think my last agent got 10% of mine, right off the top. It was the same agent for Dan Rather and some really famous guys. He died several years ago. Also, he was a famous agent for the morning show guy at that we used to same company we worked for what's his little diddly squad in the morning.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Our birthday list. Well, it was the girl got 20%, and I thought that's a lot. And I was saying I paid my manager 10% when I had a manager from my career doing my last contract.
And then it drifted off.
But I said he was the same manager for some big shots in New York. I mean, and also for that little rant. Who's the little guy who does a morning show in here, a syndicated show in the morning? He was on our station.
Glenn Beck?
Yeah, no,
Bert.
Bert, yeah, he was his manager. Yeah, we had the same manager. Birthday list includes Annette Bening, 66 years old. But it's, of all the things Annette Bening has done, the list here of her accomplishments says only one thing is listed: Marvel in Captain Marvel. Which I don't even, that would be the last one. Wow, I think of a lot of things Annette Bening has done before that. Anyway, excuse me. To our history file here today. This is kind of interesting. I kind of talked about something like this the other day, which you really didn't quite believe, and I have another one for you, Pete Davis in particular. On this day, 1849, a patent for lifting boats, over shoals. Patent number 6469, lifting vessels over shoals, granted to one Abraham Lincoln, the only American president with a patent. And again, he's the one who discovered the floating barge or something as well. Anyway, so I thought it was kind of 1849, 20 years.
Did he just point out and say, hey, there's a floating barge?
There's a barge over there floating, and by God, I want to claim entire... I don't think that's exactly the way I went to 406. And now something you really enjoy. Let's see. Oh, by the way, you want to tell us about your, once again, you're a traffic scofflaw?
Oh, yeah, Again.
This is like the second time he's been in trouble with the cops. First it was the Stadies, and now he's got another whole community after him, another state going after him.
The beginning of April, I decided to go up and see Yorktown, right? And to get to Yorktown, you got to drive through North Carolina and Virginia to get there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I drive, and at one point, I think the GPS put me on a road in Richmond.
Okay,
all right.
Yeah.
And I think it said it was a toll road, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But I get on there. There's no place to pay. There's no booth. There's nothing. I'm thinking, well, obviously the sign was wrong, or I'm not on that road, or whatever.
Remember when I went down to Florida and I all of a sudden got those tickets in the mail because it said toll road, but there was no booth. You couldn't get a ticket or pay anything. So what happened? What happened?
So they don't say you got to have the pass or something like that to get through.
No,
whatever
no
they have,
indication.
the lover's pass or whatever Virginia has. So I get a letter last night in the mail, actually last week, and I finally opened it.
Yes.
And it's basically saying that I owe, first of all, it was $5 fee for the toll, which I didn't pay.
Yeah.
And because I didn't, the fee to do this, it'll be $12. So it'll be $18 altogether. The fee's 3 times what the damn toll was, okay?
Yeah.
And it basically threatens me with they're going to take my driver's license away. Good luck. Come and get it. Molan Labe or whatever they like to say.
Yeah, but you'll never be able to drive through Virginia again because they'll have you and the cops will take you right to jail.
If I go the rest of my life without ever doing anything in Virginia, I'm good.
Yeah, because they'll never
I went to first grade there. I've been there. I've done Virginia.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what the proof. They send you a proof. They send you a picture of your car. Point out to me how you can tell this is my car.
Okay, it looks like a gray front of a car with headlights and no front license plate.
Right. This isn't Europe. There's no front license plate. So I'm going to write them and call them and say, prove this is my car.
Yeah. Who
now,
has
of course,
front
they
license
know.
plate? Does does any state have front license plates anymore? Any state at all?
New York, I think New York does both.
They wanted to cut down on the expense of it for the prisoners to make 2 plates for every car.
So obviously they know it was my car because they sent me a letter. They got my address and blah, blah, blah.
But
I'm going to make them prove it. I'm going to make them prove it.
Yeah.
And, of course, I told this to my friend earlier. He goes, you're going to turn this $18 fee into a $100 fine.
You're going to have to get a
right?
lawyer. They're going to have you a contempt citation. I think
my question is, can Virginia get Georgia to revoke my license?
No. No way.
Especially when they have no proof. Like this is their proof?
All they can do is put you in a file, so if you ever get pulled over in Virginia again, you're going to be in their computer system if you don't pay. And then they'll impound your car. They'll take you right away right now.
Okay, I am willing to drive through West Virginia to go around Virginia.
I love driving through West Virginia.
West Virginia is one of the 5 states I have never been to.
Are you? You'll love it. It's a different kind of rural and rustic. It's different. It's different geography for a lot of it. I really every time I've been through West Virginia in particular.
Well, I was thinking of doing that on this last trip, and then I didn't do it. And I wish I had now. I wish I had gone through West Virginia.
You'll definitely.
So,
enjoy it.
as my attorney, you're advising me not to pay this.
Screw him.
Fight it.
Tell him to go stick it. That's what I'd say. Although I think I drove down to Florida and back again, unloading my storage closet, and it said it was a turnpike, and I kept waiting for a toll booth to pay the toll, and there was never any toll booth because you had to have one of those things. And so it was like $150, and they charged me through the U-Haul rental place. So U-Haul was coming after me, and I'm saying, whoa. So I mean, this is like two different jurisdictions all of a sudden. So then I said, okay, geez, take my credit card. God.
I went through South Carolina a couple years ago, and they have a booth. You stop, and there's a nice lady there, and she takes your money, and you keep going.
It used to be that in Florida until all of a sudden they changed it to cut down on expenses and said, well, we'll just have the automatic clicker in your windshield now. But they didn't tell anybody unless you lived there. Who knew? Anyway, sorry. 411 already. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. How's it going? 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Oh, the cuckold queen, the doctor. Oh, she's just supporting her man. She's just like a little gal. She's just supporting her cuckold man. She is. Oh, God, she's so cute. I'll bet the first time when she sneaked out of her house telling her husband that she had a meeting with a junior league, but it might be late, honey. We probably you're doing like an overnighter. So if I don't be back with you and the family, I'll get back to you later, sweet. That's what she told her first husband. Anyway, so Jill, the doctor, was on The View, yes, and she said, it's really a battle between the devil and God himself, or something like that. Flounder, if you would, Dr. Jill, the cuckold queen, sir.
I think the American people deserve a debate because you need to see your choices. You need to see Trump, and you need to see the president, and you need to see the differences. And my husband's, and you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has. And then you'll see somebody who, like you're saying, I'm going to use Joy's words, can't put a sentence together, and everything is beautiful, and it's wonderful.
Tremendous. Big league.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
So I think you deserve, the American people deserve to see the two men who are running for this office, because your choice is going to be clear.
Yeah, the choice is between chaos and evil, against chaos and evil. And she says you're going to see the difference between somebody who can't put a sentence together talking about Donald Trump. I mean, how hysterical is that?
Hey,
you're going to see how smart my husband is and the experience he has, and you'll see somebody who can't put a sentence together. Oh, my God.
We got some more information about what the judge is being asked by the jury.
Oh, cool.
He got a note. They want 4 requests. They want David Pecker's phone conversation with Donald Trump. They want Pecker's testimony not to sign over something. They want Pecker testimony on Trump Tower meeting, and they want Cohen testimony on the Trump Tower. So basically, they're calling out the judge, they think, because he did not let Pecker testify.
Oh, boy. Well, again, they don't know what the laws are. They don't know what the Trump attorneys tried to put a guy on the stand who was the Federal Elections Commission guy to say he didn't do anything wrong, and the judge wouldn't let it go. He wouldn't put him on either. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Well, good for I'll bet those are the lawyers. I guarantee you, though, the 2 lawyers on the jury are making sure they get this stuff. Because I'm not sure the other ones would have been cogent enough under legal things to try to get the testimony of something that might prove another angle. I don't know.
They will make their lives hell in New York City to try and do a business
they'll be docked,
as a lawyer.
They'll be docked, yeah, absolutely. If it comes out the wrong way, a corporate lawyer, a civil lawyer, 413. But you got to be real, got to be honest and tell the truth. Anyway, but unless you live in New York, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, Hump Day. Join us, won't you? Have a little fun here.
Hump Day.
There we go.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, XTRA 106.3.
Well, I'm not interested in politics. I've heard that phrase so many times. I understand. I completely understand. Look at the cretins we have in politics right now. I understand, but that's a dangerous attitude. Not interested in politics? Are you interested in your children? What kind of school they go to? What sort of indoctrination they receive? Politics. The teachers' union's the most powerful in Washington. You have a savings account, I hope. You're worried about growth in that account, politics. Political decisions made every day. That will affect how your investments grow and how far your dollar goes. Been to the grocery store lately? Those prices? You have to understand politics has a huge part in those prices. Would you like to own a home someday? What about taxes? What about zoning? Those are political decisions, and they will have an effect on your ability to own that home. Politics. There isn't anything that you will do today that isn't going to be somehow connected to politics. I understand. When the political choice for the most important position in the world is between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, I understand. That's depressing. Who can change that? That's up to you. You have to do your part. Don't become obsessed by. You don't necessarily have to get involved in, but pay attention to politics. These people make and enforce the rules that you have to live by. And you're going to sit back and just shrug and say, I'm not interested in that. But is Bronny James going to get a job? A little shift in the attention of a lot of people could really help. Neil Bortz, XTRA 106.3.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2024 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore. With standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Or the 2024 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right size SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. No matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
What?
We have breaking news.
Oh, well, there you are. Listen, it's 418.
NBC reporting Trump's defense team is newly animated and have cracked a smile while the DA's team looks tense and apprehensive. The jury submitted a second note to the judge asking him to give the instructions again. The district attorney's team looks tense and apprehensive. Todd Blanche on Trump's defense team just cracked a tight smile. Trump, Blanche, and Emil Bove, another one of the attorneys, whispering amongst themselves and look newly animated. Jurors have been dismissed for the day. You must not Google or otherwise search for info about the case, the judge said. Deliberations continue tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.
I'll be damned. I mean, and again, what are the okay, Flounder, we'll start with you. There are three possible decisions: guilty, not guilty, hung jury. What do you think? What's your odds?
Hung jury.
And
I mean, I think if he would have been guilty, I think they would have done it by today.
Well, I don't think they have the time. 34 counts would be very hard to do.
Yeah.
But okay, well, so is your number one choice? You think mostly it'll be hung jury?
What's
your second choice? Or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Pete Davis, what do you have? Guilty, not guilty, or hung jury?
Mark Levin just says the judge is not doing this on his own. He's got somebody behind him giving him instructions because he's a moron. It's like basically saying all your cards in a game are wild, so no matter what your hand is, you're going to win.
Yeah. It's true. Every single legal analyst, including on the liberal networks, are now admitting, but it's clearly this is a kangaroo court. This is Venezuela. This is Cuba. This is Russia. I mean, the Americans over in Russia, where they say, we'll keep you for a while, but we don't believe you. I mean, this is outrageous. Now, my first opinion is going to be hung jury. And then I don't think they'll ever. I don't know. I don't know whether they. I don't know whether they would. If it's not a hung jury, I think it's 50-50 whether it's acquitted. I can't imagine they'll.
How soon can an appeal be brought out, or whatever?
Well, it won't be done by election time, but he's allowed to appeal, so he would still be able to run for president unless a conviction stands in order for him not to be able to run. But the appeal would never be heard because it would have to go through the first state court first, and then on to a higher appeal level. And that would never be done by November. But again, I'm guessing hung jury or. Those two lawyers, that's the key to me, is that they're going to. I'll bet they'll convince them either way.
If they appeal, does it go to Albany instead of New York City, or does it move?
I think it's a state appellate court first, and then again in New York State, the appeals court is the higher court than the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is part of the appeals court, actually, as it turns out, as I understand it. Anyway, but again, it'll take a while, and then he can obviously. This is a federal charge. He's going to appeal to the Supreme Court. So there's no way that this will have any impact unless people personally say, "Well, I'm never going to vote for a convicted felon." Which is those people are not going to vote for him anyway. That's all nonsense. This trial result is not going to have anything to do with anybody changing their vote. I don't believe. But we'll see. Anyway, Flounder, you want to do our music thing here? I feel like we kind of, didn't get the full throat to our Flounder is our musical director, and he went through all the trouble of getting us stuff here, talking about our friend Mr. Buckley. An unfortunate day in history, 1997. A singer and songwriter named Jeff Buckley. Now, I don't know him at all. Is he a British guy? Or I don't know him. I've never.
I believe he was American. I don't know much about him either. I just know he drowned.
Yeah.
He did a cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah that really kind of made him.
Cool. 1997, Jeff Buckley disappeared taking a swim in the Mississippi River. They found his body a week later, spotted by a passenger on a tourist riverboat.
Who swims in the Mississippi River?
Yeah, and how'd you like to be on a tourist boat and say, excuse me, there's a body floating over here. There's a tourist taking a tour of the Mississippi on a steamboat. There's a dead man over here.
Where was this on the Mississippi?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say. I can't imagine. Going into the Chattahoochee, I don't think I'll be swimming in the Chattahoochee anytime soon.
First of all, the current, there's the current and the eddies and basically it can kill you in 100 different ways, that river.
And there's stuff under the current. You can't go swimming in rivers like that. There's stuff under there, and I mean, poisonous turtles, and I mean,
poisonous turtles,
all kinds of stuff.
They have found bull sharks as high north as St. Louis.
Yeah, well, now see, there you go. Well, when I go hiking to Denver, I'm definitely not going to stop to take a swim and to cool off in the muddy Mississippi. Our birthday list includes LaToya Jackson, 68.
Walking to Memphis.
And it says here, the second most talented Jackson behind Tito. It's also her sister Rebby's birthday today. And I didn't say how old she is, but LaToya's 60.
Never heard of Rebby.
I never heard of Rebby either. I didn't know there was a Rebby Jackson. Flounder, was that something you had? I'm sorry, I heard a click and I saw your red light. Sorry. And let's see, a little patriotic thing. I'll change this one here. 1996, again, that was the same day. The news is spreading on this day in 1996 that Superman is badly hurt. Actor Christopher Reeve had been thrown off a horse in an equestrian event, and they know now that he has a neck injury, but nobody knows how bad it is until a short while later. But on this day in 96, they said, something bad may be happening to Superman. 424, the 4 o'clock hour, brought to you by our good friends at Atlanta Safe House, home of the Kimmer Safe. You need a safe, you may not know it. For all your stuff, you want to save medical records, your social security card, living will, stuff like that. AtlantaSafehouse.com. KimmerSAnchez.com. And, of course, they have a showroom in Ackworth. And please tell them the Kimmer sent you. 404-741-1230. 404-741.
You don't want to do that on the air.
This guy's kissing. Oh, God. Oh, geez. And there's two guys. One guy says, I just insulted Trump on social media. And the other guy says, oh, my God, so did I. And then they kiss. And then they do something else. Oh, God. No, it's rough. We still have Robert on. I'm sorry, Robert, I'm so sorry. We got distracted, and he probably hung up and is going to hate me forever. Robert in Virginia. Hey, Robert, got some advice for Pete Davis. How about that?
No. I'm in Kennesaw. I am a veteran of driving in West Virginia.
Yes, sir. Please do.
Now, West Virginia, unlike Colorado, has mountains and valleys.
Yes, it does.
All of the roads in West Virginia go through down the middle of the valleys. Every now and then, like every 25 or 30 miles, there's a pass over to the next valley.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're driving in West Virginia, you got to go somewhere else to go over the pass to get to the next valley to get to someplace else. Okay? So there ain't no straight road nowhere. Every road goes up and down by about 50 feet per 100 feet if you're in the valley. And if you're over the mountain pass, then it goes up, curvy, down, curvy, up, okay?
All right, then.
It is a delightful and wonderful state. You will greatly enjoy your time there.
Yes, indeed.
But you can't get there from here.
No. Well, Robert, you've enlightened. Yes, sir.
Now, wait a minute. Got one more thing here.
All right, please
How are you getting to your Denver walk?
I have no idea how to start. I'm just going to start. I'm just going to say, all right, that's it, and just start. Just take the first step.
Okay,
just go.
That's cool. No problem. You will enjoy Mount Evans. It's about 14,000 feet up there, but you can drive to the top. Now, if you're driving from St. Louis to Denver, you will see Denver in the Colorado mountains about 18 hours before you get there. There's this speck on the horizon that stays there all the way across Kansas.
Well, I'll be darned.
I did mention all of Kansas is like totally flat, slowly rising.
I've driven every state but a couple.
Colorado is totally flat, slowly rising.
Well, a lot of it is. There's a lot of grassland and farmland, absolutely. You see it flying over it in an airplane all the time. It's amazing. It's always been amazing to me. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right, have a great day. I appreciate it very much. 427. Oh my God. With a Kimmer, Pete and Flounder. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Speaking of driving, I came to get my car today, and my Schottenkirk guys get my car. My car needs an oil change, so they come and get it and drop me off a loaner. And it's like a combination between a station wagon and an SUV. It's kind of a mid-sized, like a square something or other. And I'm so old-fashioned and stuff. I hate these new cars where they kind of shut off when you come to a stoplight, and then when you hit the thing, they start up. They turn on again. Oh,
you don't have a button?
I don't know.
My car, I turn the button off.
Well, I don't know. It kind of doesn't do it all the way, but it kind of, I don't know. It's just a funny thing. And I don't know where the thing is. I just, and they're soft and smooth and they kind of float and stuff. It just, anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. It's going to cause me trouble because I don't like modern cars. I'm sorry. Oh, and by the way, it's had a gas gauge thing. I should have taken a picture of it. Maybe I'll do that. The gas gauge has it's a little gauge. It's a vertical column, and the bottom says E for empty, and the top is F for full. The gauge shows it's about half an inch from empty, a quarter of an inch from empty, so it's down near the bottom. However, it also says 400 miles to empty.
Yeah.
So that thing must get 1,000 miles a tank full. If it's almost empty and still has 400 miles to go.
Big tank on them suckers.
I mean, I'm going to put some on and see if that makes. I mean, I couldn't believe it. 400 miles to go and it's almost empty. That can't be right. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm easily amused and distracted. Oh, speaking of that, this was hysterical. We got a little cowabunga here, and you're going to hear, we're going to talk about Jerry Seinfeld's idea of dominant masculinity. But first, did you see the video? It's all over there of a girl anchor woman in Boston on television doing the anchor thing, talking, and a fly goes in her mouth, and she just swallows it and keeps talking. She didn't spit it out. She didn't go, it came in other news. Just kept talking. It's the damnedest thing you ever saw. Boston anchor woman eating a fly and never skipped a beat. 4:30, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Flounder's Funny's coming up. Holy crap. At sports later, Braves are in town. What could be worse? And Scotty Scheffler update. The gangster of golf standing by.
It's time for your Georgia headlines presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Drivers that use Peachtree Street in Midtown will find the busy road closed for construction for a few days. Traffic patterns have begun to shift. This morning, they started at about 9 a.m. on a portion of Peachtree Street Northeast to accommodate the construction at 811 Peachtree Street. The full road closure will be in effect now until Saturday, June 1st. Clayton County deputies have tracked down and arrested one of Clayton's most wanted, Victor Langston, who is accused of shooting a victim in the head on Jonesboro Road back in August of 2023, was arrested in a hotel in DeKalb County on Memorial Day. Officials say they found Langston with a loaded firearm in his room. Officials have not released what he is being charged with.
For more on Georgia politics and the latest breaking news, follow XTRA 106.3 on social media or download the XTRA 106.3 app.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on XTRA 106.3. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Really, what in the hell was I thinking? A couple of months ago, I was not sure I could vote for Donald Trump. But when you really look closely at Joe Biden and what he's done to our economy and what he's done to our country, if it has to be Trump, that's a better choice. Let's not make this mistake.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on XTRA 106.3 or listen anytime on the XTRA 106.3 app.
It's May 29th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Paperclip Day. The paperclip remains the unsung hero of the office supply closet. Not simply a means to hold papers together, paperclips can also act as a cheap and quick way to hem an article of clothing, or can be a creative outlet for an amateur jewelry maker who likes making bracelets or necklaces. Also on this date, in 1790, Rhode Island became the last of the 13 original colonies to ratify the U.S. Constitution. In 1942, the film based on the life of American composer George M. Cohen, Yankee Doodle Dandy, starring James Cagney, premiered in New York City.
I've got a Yankee Doodle sweet.
Cagney did his own singing and dancing in the movie. If it's your birthday today, you share it with American race car driver Al Unser Sr., born in 1939. He gave himself the best present anyone can think of in 1971, defending his Indy 500 title to become the first driver to win the famed race on their birthday. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Democracy 24.
President Trump took the stage in the South Bronx in a blue state and an even bluer city. Thousands showed up. Many of those in line were both Latin American and Black Americans. We were able to talk to voters, and they said they are upset with the border because their families immigrated here legally. Others said that crime was a big issue, that they had changed their affiliation from the Democrat Party to the Republican. Energized voters like Anson Paul from the Bronx says the discontent within the Democrat Party is growing, particularly among minorities, and to not count them out.
This is just like a small microcosm of what's happening nationwide. You know, if the sentiment is growing pro-Trump here in the Bronx, hopefully it's the same thing echoing in Michigan,
President Trump is narrowing the gap in the Empire State. President Biden has a lead of just 9 points, according to the latest Siena College poll. In the South Bronx, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
The Stones. 434. How's it going? A little rock and roll. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. On 106.3, it's freaking Wednesday, like humpity hump dump dump. But the Stones, big run in 71. U.S. singles chart #1, Brown Sugar from Sticky Fingers. Released on Rolling Stone Records. It's their 6th #1. It was only a #2 hit in Britain. I would have thought pretty much everything they did would hit #1. Sure, if they released a single, I would think it would go to #1 in Britain. Seriously. Brown Sugar. Anyway. And now, was this one they got in trouble for?
Yeah, they're still in trouble. They don't play it live anymore.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. You'd think they'd be able to play it live. I mean, that was the original song, was what they sang. They ought to be able to do it live. If you
will
paid
again. They're just they're letting it lay low for a little bit.
I guess, anyway, I suppose. You can't have nice things. Danny Elfman is 71. It says here, Danny Elfman, 71, Oingo Boingo genius turned movie composing genius. Danny Elfman, at 71, scored Beetlejuice, Batman, Sleepy Hollow, Mission Impossible, Men in Black, Spy Kids, Spider-Man, Alice in Wonderland, Dark Shadows, and that's just a fraction of the movies that Danny Elfman has done composing and scoring for. Holy cow. That's just got to be talent. That's just, you're born with that. I mean, it's like Mozart, or, it's just, that's in there, and you didn't do anything, you didn't deserve it, you just got it, you got lucky. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you love to have a thing that was just? Well, no, seriously. In fact, I told my granddaughter Molly. I think I might have mentioned this. So I had a little chat with her, and I said, you're so beautiful. I mean, she's a knockout, beautiful little girl. But I said, you didn't do anything to deserve that. That's not, that was your parents and your genes. And you didn't, you were lucky. No. I said, here's
nothing, kid.
No. I said, yeah, snap out of it, you little brat. No, I said, the good news is that people like you, and people really admire you and like you because you're smart and funny and curious and sweet, and you share, and you're happy, and you're natural with people and all the things, and you're curious, and you're an artist, and everything about you is so wonderful. And as long as you understand that the reason people like you is for what you are and what you do and how you behave with them, and not because you're pretty. Pretty's got nothing to do with it. If you remember and you don't hold that against anybody or try to compare yourself to people based on something you didn't deserve, you just got it. Wow. You just remember they like you because of who you are, and if you just remember who you are, you will always have friends, and people will always want to be around you.
I had the same problem. Looks, me too.
I know. Even today, I was in the men's room. I take a look. I say, God, how could I be single? Oh, sorry. God, I just want to throw up.
Let me count the waves.
I just wanted to be a happily married old man and sit in the back of a movie theater making out with my 80-year-old wife, or and holding hands, walking down, going to the mall and holding hands with an old lady. I mean, seriously, does that so wrong? I'm sorry, I
just want to be loved. Is that so wrong?
I killed myself. 4:37. To the phones. Ed's joining us with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Hey, Ed, you're on the radio, man. What do you think? What's up?
Kimmer.
Yes, sir.
68, 69.
God bless you. Welcome home, my friend.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. What was it? Some kind of performer died on the Mississippi, drowned or something?
Yeah, as a singer, and he went for a swim in the Mississippi and drowned. He didn't make it back.
Yeah. Well, he got my curiosity. I'm thinking maybe he might have died in a paddle wheel accident or something. But I looked at where to swim on the Mississippi.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, well, go ahead.
Buku beaches. From Minnesota down to Louisiana.
Really? A lot of Mississippi beaches, really?
Oh, yeah, but why?
Yeah.
I've been in it. And why?
It's still the water is the issue, not the beach.
You got to look at these pictures, boy. They sure as hell look good.
Well, we'll do that, Ed.
Well, Minnesota is 3 feet deep. I mean, come on. Please.
It's really kind of a creek, It's kind of a crick.
Hey, nobody's asking you to do a jackknife.
By the way, I used to be a great diver when I was taking my Red Cross swimming life-saving lessons when I was 11 and 12 years old and got my life-saving badge, and I was a lifesaver, junior lifesaver, and we used to go do diving things off the not the big, the high one, the 3-meter board or something, and I specialized in the jackknife. I used to love to do the jackknife. Oh, my God.
I did a lot of diving in my day, too.
Yeah. All right, Ed, I got to go. You're killing me. 439, Carapete and Florida. Thanks, man.
Diving, always a favorite of mine.
Here you go. 404-741-1230. 741, just drive right in there. 741-123 and also 0. Let's see. Jerry Seinfeld. What's that? Head first? Oh, absolutely head first. And Jerry Seinfeld was he was on another podcast. We just talked about somebody being on a podcast. Well, here we go again. Jerry Seinfeld was on a podcast, Honestly, with Barry Weiss. And Jerry Seinfeld admitted his comedy career took him on a childish kind of a journey instead of his desire to embody traditional masculinity. It's Jerry Seinfeld speaking. But Jerry Seinfeld says, I'm not backing down on what I believe it means to be a, quote, real man. He gave some examples of icons of masculinity who wowed him during Jerry Seinfeld's childhood, names like John F. Kennedy, Muhammad Ali, Sean Connery, and Howard Cosell. He mentioned Howard Cosell as an example of masculinity, grew up admiring and aspiring to be like them, but those days are gone. And Jerry says, yeah, I know, I get the toxic thing of girls, nobody wants a toxic masculinity, which is a bunch of crap. But Jerry says, thank you, I get it, but still, I like a real man. And Jerry says he misses the unspoken hierarchy in society from back in the day, which he says simply doesn't exist anymore. He seems to view it as a negative. Discussing his new comedy Unfrosted, which is inspired a testosterone-fueled Post versus Kellogg showdown. The comic pointed to his co-star Hugh Grant. Again, Jerry Seinfeld says, my co-star Hugh Grant is the epitome of manhood. Gushing, quote, he knows how to dress, he knows how to talk, he's charming, he has stories, he's comfortable at dinner parties, and knows how to get a drink. You know what I mean? That stuff. Well, that's not, to me, a dominant masculinity. That's Cary Grant and, a nice man anybody would love to have to dinner.
And it's suave.
Yeah,
it's
suave. Dapper and suave. Yeah, dapper and suave, I used to say to my in prep school. Dapper and suave, yes. A real true
He's
gentleman.
got a great line in that movie where he's getting an argument with Melissa McCarthy, and he walks up to her and goes, when one enters a quarrel, one must beware.
There's something up with which I shall not put. But anyway, dominant man. Now, that to me is not dominant masculinity. That's more, again.
But Connery could do that. Connery could do both.
Well, yeah, that's true. But he was also, he to me, he definitely was the suave guy when he wanted to be, but he was also a tough guy. And he also got creamed because he thought once in a while women need to get roughed up a little bit to kind of put them in their place. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I don't think a man should ever bully a woman, but I think a man should. Well, ladies, I'd love to hear what you think. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. To me, I don't think a woman should be scared of her man, but I think a woman should realize this guy will kill for me. This guy is not taking any crap off anybody, and the woman would never be afraid of her man, but she'd be afraid for somebody else because of her man, and she'd know that he would go all the way for her, and that he's a tough guy, and that he doesn't want to put up a lot of crap, and we men have a fairly simple life, and again, I was raised. My father took care of the family, and mom was the homemaker and took care of everything. And those days are gone, of course, but still, she ran the place. She was the boss, and my mother was the boss, but dad was the man. And that's what the difference is. She was the boss of the family. She ran everything, but he was the man. And that doesn't mean we everybody bowed down to obey him or anything of the sort. But he was an old-fashioned man where, quiet and carried a big stick, and you knew he would take care of business. You could rely on him. You could trust him. You had faith in him, and you knew that he would kill for you. And that, to me, is a serious masculine dominant personality.
If you were a George Soros type back in the 1950s with billions of dollars and you're thinking, how can I destroy this country and Western civilization? The way they've gone about destroying the family unit by making both parents have to work, and now the way they're bankrupting the middle class by not being able to afford anything, food or home or something like that, because the middle class had power, and they don't like that. The elites don't like the middle class having power, so they're destroying it right now. You couldn't do a better blueprint than the way you're destroying America than doing what they're doing with the family and the middle class.
Yeah. Well, and now, but again, they've taken it to such an extreme that all of a sudden now we have the official federal documents of Title IX saying if you're a boy and you feel like a girl, you can go in the girls' locker room. I mean, my God, who ever heard of that? That's a thing now. It's an official policy, and it's all. In fact, it's all over the world. British nurses have filed a lawsuit claiming their official National Health Service system says if you're transgender, you can do anything you want in the girls' area. So there's a male nurse who shows his genitalia in his little underpants and walking around and goes up to nurses and said, well, gee, how come you're not getting undressed? And his tallywhackers right there with the Big Al and the twins. And the girls, in fact, some of the girls have said they've had traumatic past, they've been abused by men. So one girl has PTSD, doesn't want to be in the room with the same guy undressing in front of a man. I mean, there's nurses in there crying. They have changing, and by the way, there's a changing room deal where if you're in a changing room and someone comes in there, it's a key press room. You need a code to get in there. So once the door's closed, it's closed. And this one nurse says it's a thick door. If anything happened, nobody'd be able to hear me screaming. Plus, I'm changing in a room with a man. I mean, come on. So they have to sue over this.
You know where you're not hearing problems like this? Eastern Europe. You're not hearing problems like this. Hungary's not putting up with it. Russia's not putting up with it.
Why are we? Where's the revolting?
The Polish aren't putting up with it.
And again, I think it's traditional values of the male head of the household and the woman head of running everything in the household. Again, this is not a woman is not being subservient if she's the boss. I mean, she's running everything. She's the boss, and yet, your mother. Oh my God, my mother. Are you serious? You think they would have for a minute if there was a girls? My mother actually for a while coached a girls softball team just for one summer for kicks. I guarantee you, if there had been boys trying to play on the, she'd have grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and dragged him over to the sideline and said, "Get off my feet."
Garden shears. 2 words.
Yeah,
garden shears.
Unbelievable. Again, where are the women? I don't think I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, the masculinity rule as well, but I don't.
Which again, shows the
vice president's husband was in charge of the toxic masculinity to get rid of toxic masculinity. Remember that? Vice president's husband.
This
the
whole
white
feminism thing, the whole Me Too movement, it's all a crock of crap.
That's right. That's all political, and it's getting worse. 447, Kimber, Pete, and Flounder. Happy Hump Day. What's going on?
Hey, it's Rhino from the Morning Extra, getting your weekday morning started from 6 to 10 a.m.
Y'all, we're in the midst of a revolution.
I saw it yesterday at USC with the paraphernalia that they did leave behind. They had 3 symbols. The middle symbol, Palestinian red hand symbol. The other was a swastika, and the other was a hammer and sickle, reminiscent of old Soviet Union. This isn't about peace in the region anymore. No, this is about violence towards one group.
That's exactly right. And it's disturbing and it's alarming.
Well, again, I talk about 2020 and the energy that people had from the George Floyd incident. Suddenly people were looking at it like, how can I make friends with these people? You didn't realize they were Marxists and they didn't believe in Israel's right to exist either. But you were so busy, caught up in that fervor of trying to tell people, no, I'm a friend, I'm an ally, that you didn't realize what these people were doing. Hopefully this time around, you clearly see what these people are doing. It's the same playbook, it's the same fervor, but I don't think it's going to resonate the same way.
I certainly hope you're right.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on XTRA 106.3 FM and the XTRA app.
Stop dreaming. Start driving. Get the gift that keeps on giving with the RBM of Atlanta's Certified Pre-Owned Sales Event. Each of our certified pre-owned vehicles undergoes an exhaustive process of analysis, inspection, and reconditioning until it meets the uncompromising standards of RBM of Atlanta and Mercedes-Benz. For a limited time, get special financing from as low as 2.99% APR. In addition, you'll receive unlimited confidence with Mercedes-Benz's unlimited mileage warranty, delivering continued assurance for up to 7 years. Contact RBM of of Atlanta for details and see how to qualify. We'd love to welcome you to the RBM of Atlanta family. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Not all offers apply to all vehicles, and special financing available to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Services through May 31st, 2024. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call 770-390-0700 for details.
Weather's warming up, and I can't wait to get to the ranch this summer, to paint, to roam. Cool summer nights with my family, being out by the campfire. I remember when I couldn't do a lot of these things because the altitude created a constant, unbearable pain for me. My wife, Tanya, insisted that I tried Relief Factor. I didn't think it would work for me. It's a 100% drug-free daily supplement. It's supposed to help your body fight pain naturally. I mean, I went to the best doctors in the world and they couldn't help me. I didn't think this would work. Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask the pain. It reduces or even eliminates it by reducing the inflammation in your body. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joint, muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you will start to feel the difference all day, every day. I've been taking Relief Factor for years now, and it has truly changed my life. ReliefFactor.com. 800-4-RELIEF. 800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. 800-4-RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com.
XTRA 106.3 listeners are falling in love with Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell.
Me and my wife now find our favorite sandwich place. That food over there was great.
Yeah, those rolls are so soft and sweet. I mean, it was just melt in your mouth. It was, and the steak was tender and juicy and flavorful. I can't say enough about it. It was very, very impressive.
It was so good.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner. Nucky'sHoagies.com.
We got more Trump update stuff coming up here in a second. But first, 451, Kimmer Pete and Flounder and the Grateful Dead. My daughter Jennifer was a deadhead back when she was a heroin and cocaine addict. She used to follow him around. And thank God those days are over. God bless her. She's a hero now. Been straight for about 20 years. 1971, the Grateful Dead. Oh, boy. 36 fans of the Grateful Dead were treated for serious hallucinations caused by LSD after they apparently, without knowing, drank spiked apple juice served at a gig at San Francisco's Winterland for the Grateful Dead concert. I can promise you, you were not alone there, girls. Let's see. Our birthday list includes Ted Levine. Or is it Ted Levine? Ted Levine, I think. 67. Pete, you know who that is?
Good actor.
Flounder, do you know who Ted Levine is? You know who he is without the name, I'll bet you. Ted Levine is 67. Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bob was a different thing. Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, and also it rubs the lotion on its skin, and also was on Monk, which I never saw. I never saw the show Monk.
Oh, well, Tony Shalhoub. I'm surprised you're such a worshiper.
Well, I know. Well, his sister was a big fan of the Kimmer Show, and Tony Shalhoub's sister called in that time with the Kimmer Show, and I had probably the second worst interview I've ever done.
I was an ass of yourself.
I total ass. I couldn't help it. I got so excited, and I kept saying, "Ooh, can you get me on the show? Can you get me on one of his shows?" And I was like a 9-year-old kid.
we had to leave the room. The slobbering.
It was embarrassing as hell. Poor thing. She lived up in Alfred or something. She called into the show, and I was like, "Oh my God, Tony Shalhoub's sister! Oh my God!" I'm like, that was awful.
In 30 years of watching you embarrass yourself, that was the only time I had to leave. I had to get up and leave the room.
It was horrible. I'm not good. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not good. Like I need to do insurance or something. That lady's shoes. I've been a lot happier. I know that. Our history list includes 1914, one of the worst maritime disasters in world history. The St. Lawrence Seaway, Canada. The Empress of Ireland, a passenger ship, and a Norwegian coal freighter collided in heavy fog, 1914. More than 1,000 passengers and crew died in the collision on the St. Lawrence River. Wow. 1914.
Now, was that Wasn't it also a plague ship where they were taking people to an island there in the seaway to quarantine them?
That sounds familiar. It wasn't in that history thing on my list, but I think that was part of the story. I have like a vague memory of that, but it wasn't in that story that I just read, so I don't know.
They took people to that island to die. Basically. Forget about it.
Well, again, this is the early part. The life expectancy was like 42 for that matter, but
was it typhoid or something like that, or typhus?
Yeah, I believe so. 4:53 up today. So Kimber, Pete, and Flounder.
Martin's on the line.
Martin, you're on the radio. We'll do more Trump updates, and the jury is gone for the day. They'll be back to deliberate again tomorrow. Martin, you're on the radio. What's up, man? Welcome.
Yeah, Kim. Calling about yesterday, the little indiscretion by the Pope. But tell me, what do you call a watermelon?
What do I call a watermelon? To dinner.
I think you call it a watermelon.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of thinking the Pope, he might have just nailed it.
Well, he said there was too much, going on in the Catholic Church. And again, and seriously, the thing is they're trying to decide what to do because now they're allowing, gay people to be in the church, but they're not allowing gay priests. So the next step is a gay priesthood officially in seminaries. That was the issue they were talking about when the whole thing about, quote, faggoty came up in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, you remember John Paul, the one from Poland?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was tops.
John Paul II. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. But this guy from Argentina.
Well, the whole world's screwed up. All of a sudden, even the head of the Catholic Church can't even go by the basic old documents. I mean, it's not like they want to go back to reading Latin in all the church services anymore. But still, I mean, the Catholic Church of today is unrecognizable compared to the Catholic Church of the friends I knew growing up as a kid, even 50, 60, 70 years ago. So, anyway.
Have you ever been to the Vatican?
I've never been to the Vatican. No, sir. Have not.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
Yeah, I'll bet it is. My kids have been traveling to Europe and school things and stuff, and they've done a lot of that kind of stuff.
I did Christmas there one time. So
really?
Nice.
Oh, man, I'll bet that. Oh, did they have like choirs and choruses? Must have been incredible. Songs probably everywhere.
It's the gathering of all the people in the square, and then the Christmas message. It's more
cool.
Symbolism and what have you. Anyhow, all right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great to talk to you. 4:56.
You know what he's doing when he's doing that hand thing?
Omnivalia Davidis and Grace Gras Pates. Oh, sorry.
All you Italians, get off the grass.
Right. And then you're going to over and kid. No, that would be wrong. Mark Levin has just fielded something here. Here's how President Trump could seek a direct appeal to the Supreme Court. One of the smartest lawyers I know might see a direct thing, can act by statutory writs of certiorari to take a case from lower court to appellate, has a host of other processes called common law writs. As a federal judge, I was clerking for the chief. There are multiple ways to offer the Supreme Court an opportunity to forthwith review a conviction by a rogue court, as would be the case here. The principle as a denial of due process by not informing Donald Trump of the underlying federal crime he was alleged to have committed. Again, they never told him what the second crime was to make this a felony. They never spelled it out. That alone should go right to the Supreme Court. Holy cow, what a great freaking idea. I don't know about you, but I think this is a great freaking idea. Oh, God, but first, the Flounder's got Nucky's Hokies idea.
All right, the black guy who brought up leg shaking, saying Elvis took leg shaking from us. It's like, really? Leg shaking? No, nobody thought to fucking do this? Black people came up with that? You telling me that? I'll even give you that. Let's say you came up with that, but where did that black dude learn how to do it? Didn't he watch some older black guy do it? But what, because he's the same color? He's not stealing, he's just carrying on the tradition. But if Elvis does it, what the now he's the biggest thief ever? That doesn't make any sense to me. She goes, no, you idiot. It's not about the leg shaking, okay? It's about, he appropriated a culture. He took all the music, he got all the money, got all the fame. He's called the king of it now, and he never gave a not even a shout out. I was like, all right. Fair enough. He made about 7 or 8 good points there that I can't refute. He appropriated a culture. I get it. You're right. She goes, fine, thank you. And I go, however, not for nothing, do I get mad at you when you get on a skateboard and you start going down the street? I get all offended like, hey man, that's the white Stop appropriating my culture. picture, man. Some dirty white kid in Santa Monica came up with that, man.
Bill Burr, which is one of the great comedians of all time. And again, it's like a daily, it's like a Seinfeld only with bad language in it. Kind of the daily thing, can you believe so-and-so? How about that airline food? I mean, it's just, it's really just...
I saw something the other day. He started out, he and his friend would always get drunk and go down and watch the comedians.
Yeah.
And he never thought about getting up there because he thought it was so far away. And one night his friend looked at him and said, one of these nights I'm going to have a shot of tequila and I'm going to get up there. And Bill Burr thought to himself, well, hell, if this idiot can do that, all I can do is I can take a shot of tequila and get up there. And that's what he did, why he did it.
And he sounds like a guy who took a shot of tequila and just started telling stories. I mean, he doesn't sound like he's professionally worked this out. It's all in, he's got the bit in his head, but he hasn't written it down word for word. He's not, like a smooth professional, storyteller. He's a talker and he's got great stories. And that's what makes him so, I think, entertaining to me, is it's just fun listening to him. He's just got great stories. And he thinks it's stuff that happens to be funny. And his demeanor, too. It's just, it's a gift. It's almost coming up on 5 o'clock. Holy crap at sports coming up, too, with Kara, Pete, and Flounder. Hope you're having a happy day. Beautiful Wednesday. Stand by.
and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches.
Deliberations done. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The judge sending jurors home for the night at the Trump trial in New York after 2 notes and no verdict yet. They requested to rehear testimony from both former attorney Michael Cohen and former tabloid publisher David Pecker about a Trump Tower meeting in 2015.
Specifically, the jury is asking about the purchasing of the Karen McDougal story, which is not part of the criminal case here against the former president. That relates to the Stormy Daniels payment, but prosecutors brought up the Karen McDougal story just to establish a pattern.
Fox's Nate Foy at the courthouse. They also want to hear jury instructions again. It's not clear yet if that means all or part of the instructions, which are more than 50 pages long and include underlying allegations that fold into the prosecution's charges of falsifying business records.
Trump is accused of unlawfully influencing the 2016 election, and the unlawful part is the part where the judge gave the jury 3 separate options to essentially convict him of this crime.
Those options include a federal campaign or tax law violation or a creation of additional false records. The judge and the attorney still trying to sort out what will be reread for the jury tomorrow morning when they'll resume deliberations. In the same courthouse, former movie producer Harvey Weinstein appearing before a judge as he prepares for retrial on rape charges. Prosecutors telling that judge they're reviewing new claims against him and could seek a new indictment. Weinstein's attorney Arthur Aidala telling reporters
he really looks forward to the trial proceeding sooner than later. Obviously, we have to do our job in terms of reading the transcripts and seeing if there's any new discovery material.
The Court of Appeals overturned a 2020 rape conviction over the judge allowing testimony from accusers who weren't part of the case. The case against golfer Scottie Scheffler is dismissed in Kentucky. Prosecutors saying there wasn't evidence for criminal charges in what Scheffler has called a misunderstanding near an accident scene. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? The sound of adorable little birds in your garden. And if you were here, you'd taste the 2 sweet but tiny tomatoes you grew all by yourself. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens when you're riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive on your way to the store for a pack of normal-sized tomatoes. So if you ride, switch to Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer, without getting your hands dirty. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Let's get it together, Get it together, ladies. Road guards out. Stand by. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer House of Call with Pete Davis and Flounder at the controls. 504. Here's a number, 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Going to hear some Trump stuff and trial stuff and the Golf Pro stuff and legal stuff. Oh, remember the case of the little girls who were photographed and filmed inside the laboratory on an American Airlines flights? Well, we got an update on that story for you as well. Also, Peter Strzok and Lisa Gummy Bear, the two slutty FBI officials, are about to get money from the government because they were embarrassed that they got caught being scumbags. And they're getting money instead of going to prison. They were the ones behind the scandal trying to make sure Donald Trump was never elected president. And they're going to get money because they were outed publicly for being scumbags. Totally opposite of what should be happening here. Anyway, we'll get to all that stuff, too. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. The jury's deliberating. They're not anymore. They're gone for the day. They'll be back at 9:30 in the morning. 34 counts, so it's going to take them a while. And again, Pete, refresh my memory, too. They've sent a couple notes to the judge. They want to have some testimony reread back to them or given to them to read themselves, either way. And they also have some questions about the charges to the jury concerning the charges in the case, which we knew was going to happen because everybody was keeping track of this, saying that, this is just wrong. It's just, even the judge admitted he's not going to give them the document to look at. He's not going to give them his instructions in print because it's too complicated. So if they have a question, they have to ask him a question and get the answer to a specific question.
Which they are.
Which they're doing right now. And again, it had to happen. They can't possibly. And again, 34 counts. So they theoretically have to discuss every single one of those 34 counts.
This judge has made it so easy for them to convict him on something that if they don't, wow.
Yep, I agree. My guess is that if they can separate 34 charges, they're almost guaranteed to convict him on something, but I don't think it would lead to, I don't, who knows? I mean, obviously it's going to be appealed, so it will not affect the election. There's no way this will affect the election. Unless he does get a writ of certiorari to go to the Supreme Court and bypass the state courts. And if they were to rule before the election one way or the other, then it might make a difference. But again, this is all, we're totally speculating, don't know. First of all, Flounder, if you would, Donald Trump had a couple of comments after the judge's instructions to the jury. Sure seems like the fix is in. Here's Donald Trump reacting to what he heard.
I would say, in listening to the charges from the judge, who's, as you know, very conflicted and corrupt, because of the confliction, very, very corrupt. Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. These charges are rigged. The whole thing is rigged. The whole country's a mess between the borders and fake elections, and you have a trial like this where the judge is so conflicted he can't breathe. He's got to do his job. And it's not for me, that I can tell you. It's a disgrace. And I mean that. Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see. We'll see how we do.
Yeah, and the judge said even though Donald Trump is a killer and a murderer and a rapist and tried to overthrow the country, even though those things are all true, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you can't hold that against him. It just wouldn't be fair. Gee, golly, thanks, Judge. You really cleared it up pretty good. If they find him guilty, then those two lawyers on the jury, in my opinion, ought to lose their licenses and be disbarred. There's no way that any of this is legal. The entire thing was a setup to get Donald Trump in the beginning to stop him from running for president. This is the worst case of election interference in the history of our country. All of these, and remember, the White House was in on all of this stuff. The White House was having meetings with Fannie the Floozy, the uppity schmuppity DA from Atlanta, Fulton County. They were having meetings with her and her boy toy lover man, the BBC, the big, beautiful client. And so, I mean, we know the fix was in from the beginning with all four of these cases. Election interference, this all has got to be thrown out. This is the worst thing any one party has done to another party in American history. Yep. This is a million times worse than Watergate. Watergate was a burglary, and they got caught, and everybody got punished for it. I mean, and nothing, and he got, and he had to quit office. So that was hardly what's going on here for 6 years, 7 years.
There's a meme going around of Nixon saying, "You need to dig me up and apologize to me. All I did was erase 30 seconds, and you let Hillary get away with thousands of emails,
30,
and now
000.
you have this going on."
Yep, that's right. And the fix was in, and then the Peter Strzok thing. Oh my God, here I got it right here. This is unbelievable. Remember Peter Strzok, the counterintelligence agency who led their investigation into Donald Trump and the Russian collusion, and the fix was in with his little slut girlfriend Lisa Gummy Bear, also with the FBI, and they were having an affair, wrecking both homes, and they were sharing copies of their. Apparently, that the federal government, the Justice Department, infringed on their privacy rights when they shared copies of their communication with reporters, including messages where they called Trump an idiot, a loathsome human being. The Trump victory possibility is terrifying. They're going to do anything they can to make sure he's never elected. Trump called him, said they were guilty of treason. The Inspector General's office scrutinized the FBI investigation of Hillary's use of the private email server and said, well, she did some things wrong, but there's no legal thing. Oh, my God. I mean, again, everything about this is proof that the fix was in. And Peter Strzok and Lisa sued the government because their names were released. They got caught with this conspiracy against Donald Trump. They got caught, and they sued, and they're going to get money. They're settling the argument over their violation of their privacy. They didn't deserve the privacy as FBI agents conspiring against a president. They should be in prison. They're traitors. They are the insurrectionists. They're the ones trying to overthrow the government. It was a coup, and it worked. Trump lost. He got impeached twice. The coup worked. The coup worked. And these are two right at the beginning of it. And the FBI was even more. Remember, the head of the FBI investigation and the Steele dossier became the head of the Washington Bureau. Unbelievable. I mean, they talk about the fix was in. Good Lord. Anyway, 510. Let's do Dennis Quaid. Well, let's not do Dennis Quaid. It'd be silly. But again, I think people are understanding what's going on here, including actor Dennis Quaid. He was on the talk show with Piers Morgan, and Dennis Quaid apparently had no intention of voting for Donald Trump until he saw, like we do, what the heck is going on around here.
What do you think of Trump?
I think I'm going to vote for him.
Really?
Yeah, in the next election. Yes, I am.
Are you ready for the blowback?
Well, yeah.
Which inevitably comes with Trump?
I think in this election, everybody's got to, I think that you're going to take a side or whatever, but it just seems to me, it just makes sense. I was ready not to vote for Trump until what I saw is more than politics. I see a weaponization of our justice system.
Yeah.
And a challenge to our Constitution, us as Americans, that I don't think we're going to have. And, Trump is the most investigated person probably in the history of the world. Mm-hmm. And they haven't been able to really get him. People might call him an asshole, but he's my asshole.
Dennis Quaid also specifically talked about foreign policy, actions against, remember, Rocket Man Kim Jong-un in North Korea, defeat of ISIS, response to China. He stands up to people, but makes him a leader, kind of compared to what Jimmy Carter's administration, where we're trying to be everybody's friend and pal. And he said he had praise for Donald Trump's handling of the pandemic. To tell you the truth, I think the president's handling it in a good way. We see him on TV. He's involved. Travel ban early was a great idea, which he did in spite of the protest about it. And, of course, he's being blasted for it no matter what. But just if you hate Trump, you hate him. But even Dennis Quaid says, I mean, just think about it. Just, again, take a list of everything that happened. Pick any topic. The economy, oil and gas, energy, foreign relations, wars or peace, gender issues, the federal authorities on sports activities. I mean, just pick 10 different topics and write down better or worse in the last 4 years. I mean, seriously, pick anything that's better. Is there anything better? The move toward, did you see what the figures? They spent, President Daughter Washer has spent $8 billion on charging stations all over America for his electric car thing. They built, I think, 6 of them. $8 billion, and there are, I think, 6 charging stations under that program. I mean, my God. They're doing anything.
Stolen the money again.
Yeah, because they say, we need to go electric. Let's all go. Again, it's like an 8th grade girl running for class president. Let's all have free pizza on every Friday, free pizza. Yay, let's do it. Yay, let's all be in favor. And then they try to figure out how to do it. I mean, they think it sounds good, so therefore it must be good.
It's like Solyndra, where they give all the money and then the people disappear and go overseas and the money's gone. Yeah. All that money from the stimulus and all that. Yeah. We could have built 40 Golden Gate bridges. None were built.
Hold on, I'm posing for pretty girls. Hi, girl. Thank you. I'm so sorry. We have wives and family in here, and some very attractive young ladies, and they were all taking pictures of the camera I could pose for them. So I'm very flattered that they would want a picture of goofy me. Anyway, almost 5 whole days. Sorry, Pete, didn't interrupt you, but I have to take. We've got the big window here, so
Kimmy, you just killed a promo. Thanks.
Sorry. Story of my life. And by the way, the man of the promos, Flounder is the man of promos, by the way, for the record. All right, Holy Grandpa Sports is coming up, 5:14, Braves in town, and we got it all coming up with Flounder's Funny Stew and more with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder right here.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Really, what in the hell was I thinking? A couple of months ago, I was not sure I could vote for Donald Trump. But when you really look closely at Joe Biden and what he's done to our economy and what he's done to our country, if it has to be Trump, that's a better choice. Let's not make this mistake.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2024 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore. With standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Or the 2024 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right size SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. No matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Hey sandwich lovers, today's your lucky day. There's a whole new way to roll for lunch or dinner delight with Nucky's Hoagies in the Roswell Corners Shopping Center. Now open. Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell is family owned and operated by the Sub-Sisters, Stacy and Shannon, whose love language is food and Nucky's Hoagies, their passion. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagie, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, along with hunger-quenching sandwich combinations. Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner.
The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Have you ever remembered a president who has attacked the American people, dividing them 50-50 as a threat to democracy? Have you ever heard another American president turn on the American people? I'm seriously, any president.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
All right, I got 5 o'clock hour brought to you by Lee Brandt Jewelers, where luxury jewelry and watches are affordable. Drop by their store in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com. And tell them the Kimmer sent you. 517. Hey, wait. Holy crap, it's sports with Pete Davis.
Braves try to make it 2 in a row over the Nationals tonight in Truist Park after shutting them out 2-0 last night behind 8 strong innings again from Max Fried. Max benefited from good defense and stupid base running by the Nats in the first inning, then held them at bay through 8, giving up 7 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, improved his record to 5-2, lowered his ERA to under 3.
Wow,
so,
good for him.
Raciel Iglesias, a perfect night for the save, his 13th. It was scoreless into the bottom of the 7th when Marcell Ozuna strode to the plate.
2-2, hammered, deep left field, back to the wall. He just blew the doors off that thing. It's a home run by Ozuna. They've relied on his power all year, and this time he comes through for the first run of the ball game.
Ben Ingram on 680 the fan there. Jared Kelnick, the other RBI, with the sac fly. So the Braves are now 3-0 when I attend ball games this season.
Well,
you're welcome.
There you are.
You're welcome. Tonight's the Braves' number 3 prospect, right-hander Spencer Schwellenbach, on the mound in his major league debut against Washington. Spencer is just 23, 2 starts at AA Mississippi under his belt. He's 4-1 with a 1.80 earned run average with 51 strikeouts and 45 innings in 8 starts this season. 6 at High A Rome and 2 at AA Jackson, Mississippi, or Pearl. He pitched 13 scoreless innings with 17 strikeouts against just 1 walk and 2 outings after being promoted to AA. So he's off to a good start.
Excellent.
Lefty Mackenzie Gore for D.C. tonight. He's 3-4 with a 3.04 ERA. Ozzie Albies back in the leadoff position with the left-hander on the mound. Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate for the rookie. The Braves signed former A's and Guardians outfitter Ramon Laureano to a minor league deal. Played 7 seasons in the majors, had some success. Not off to a good year this year, so Cleveland released him back into the wild, but maybe he'll come back. He's really good defensively, if I remember correctly, a center fielder. Number 5 pitching prospect Owen Murphy, the Braves' first-round pick in the 2022 draft. Will have Tommy John surgery. He was dominating at high A ball, but just like all these kids, they
throwing too
maximum
hard.
effort every time.
Throwing too hard. The body's not. Again, if you've never looked slow motion of a pitcher throwing a major league curveball and slider and you can't make your. If you tried to make your arm do it, you can't. You actually really can't quite do it. It's unbelievable.
Nope. Hayden Hopkins is a performer, a very good-looking one for Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas, or she was, until she got pregnant.
Upsie.
Speculation, the 26-year-old's baby daddy was Raiders owner Mark Davis, who is 69 years old.
Yowzer.
Turns out the father is really Nationals player Joey Gallo. So say hi to Joey
I heard
tonight.
about that story. Yeah, that's right,
Joey.
Joey Gallo.
And your baseball record book, take it, throw it out the window. It means nothing anymore. Josh Gibson is now Major League Baseball's career leader with a .372 batting average. Who was the leader up until today?
Wasn't that Ty Cobb?
That was Ty Cobb at .367.
Wow.
The Negro League's records for more than 2,300 players have been incorporated after a 3-year research project. So Gibson's .466 average for the 1943 Homestead Grays is the single-season standard, followed by Charlie Chino Smith's .451 for the 1929 New York Lincoln Giants. They overtook the .440 by Hugh Duffy for the National League's Boston team of 1894. That would later be the Braves.
Yeah.
Gibson also became the career leader in slugging percentage, moving ahead of Babe Ruth. Now, interim commissioner Rob Manfred says maybe the single biggest factor, the success of players who played in the Negro Leagues and then went to the big leagues. That prompted him to start doing this. A special committee on records decided back in 1969 to recognize 6 major leagues dating to 1876. The National, the American started in 1901, the American Association from 1882 to 1891, the Union Association in 1884, the Players League of 1890, and the Federal League from 1914 and 15. It excluded the National Association, said it was too much erraticness in the schedule. So MLB announced back in 2020 it would be correcting the longtime oversight. They had a 17-person committee looked on this and decided that the 60-game condensed season of 2020 for COVID said, well, look, if they had condensed season and they still had a season, we can look at the Negro Leagues who had condensed seasons. So they've done this on this. Wow. All right. Willie Mays gained 10 hits because he played for the Birmingham Black Barons.
Oh, my God. I hadn't thought of that. Your record
Satchel Paige, 28 more wins. How many wins do you think Satchel Paige had in his career?
Well, probably 300. I mean,
lower.
Lower? I thought 200. Isn't he in the
lower?
Satchel Paige? I thought he was like...
They are crediting him to just 125 wins.
Oh, I don't know about that.
This brings up the record-keeping problem, which is a slight problem I have with this. Barnstorming exhibition games were not included.
Yeah.
They went to old newspapers, and they did their due diligence. Yeah. Here's my concerns. Just how good was the record-keeping and stats, since there wasn't as much money to pay people to keep up with the numbers in the Negro Leagues? Yeah. Were the ballparks smaller on average? And was the overall depth of the pitching staff's equivalent to the major leagues? Because we all know on the top talent level, the Negro League players are just as good or even better than most of their MLB counterparts. So I'm sure after 3 or 4 years of looking into this, supposedly they've added this into the equation to make up for it. Well, that's what they say. So
I don't know. I guess
it's interesting.
Fine. It sure changes things, and
it does. Well, fine. I was on the MLB At-Bat app last night while it's doing dishes and managed to hear some baseball history. It was unbelievable. Right. In early November, Jeremiah Estrada was waived by the Cubs. A month ago, he was in AAA. Last night, the Padres reliever did something never before done in the expansion era. He has now struck out in different games 13 batters in a row.
No kidding. Wow.
All of the third strikes were swinging strikes.
Oh, even more incredible.
Yeah, he said his primary off-speed pitch is a split circle change that he calls, let's be careful here, a chitter.
A chitter? All right, sir. Chitter.
C-H-I-T-T-E-R. C-H-I-T-T-E-R. A chitter.
All right, sir.
That's what he calls it. He should change that name for all broadcasters everywhere right now. That's all I'm saying.
13 strikeouts in a row.
13 in a row.
Wow.
And he's still going.
Yeah.
That was the end of that.
Yeah.
If you're worried about what former umpire Angel Hernandez is going to do now he's retired, worry no more. I have so many people send me this today. It was so funny. The Babylon Bee says he's got a new gig. Yeah. He will now be inspecting planes for Boeing. Oh, God. And more proof that Lincoln Riley is the perfect coach for the University of Spoiled Children, or USC. We now know he's tried for 2 years to get the Trojans out of having to play LSU in the first game this season. Tigers coach Brian Kelly said, nope. We're going to keep playing this game. Southern Cal and LSU will each get $5 million from the Las Vegas Bowl to play there.
Holy.
The first 2 weeks of this season include, we're talking big non-conference games, Texas at Michigan, Georgia at Clemson, or against Clemson here in Atlanta, Notre Dame at Texas A&M, and Miami at Florida. That's pretty good first week.
Wow, I guess.
That's pretty good. Unfortunately, shades of Michael Vick. The Super Bowl champion Chiefs' troubled offseason has continued. 2 misdemeanor warrants have been filed against Chiefs defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs in Tuscaloosa County, Alabama, for cruelty to dogs in the second degree.
No.
They got a report 2 dogs are being left on the back porch of a home rented by Buggs. They found a gray and white pit bull and a black Rottweiler on a screened-in back porch. No access to food or water. Both were malnourished and neglected. The residence was abandoned. Witnesses told the police Buggs had recently moved away from the house. Both dogs were seized. The pit bull eventually had to be euthanized.
Oh, for God's sakes. Give the name of this guy again, and who's he play for? Kansas City, right?
Isaiah Buggs, Kansas City.
Buggs?
Innocent until proven guilty.
I know, but still. Good Lord.
I guess all your T-shirts you wore saying Free Scotty actually worked.
Well, I tried to do my best,
All the charges against scofflaw Scotty Scheffler has been dropped up in Louisville after his incident with a detective during the PGA Championship.
Well,
so there.
Yeah, that's good.
And Rory McIlroy isn't getting any better at personal communications.
Oh, boy.
He once broke up with his tennis star Caroline Wozniacki with a 3-minute phone call just hours after he said, I love you to her.
Right, and broke up,
Now we find out his wife found out about their divorce when a private dick showed up at her house and handed her the papers.
Oh, no.
He did not inform estranged wife Erica Stoll that he intended to divorce her in person. The 35-year-old star has filed for divorce from Stoll, who's 36, after 7 years of marriage, just 24 hours after winning the Wells Fargo Championship in Charlotte. The man, the private investigator, turned up unannounced at the lavish $22 million marital mansion in Jupiter, Florida, 10:30 a.m. May 13th, and handed her a copy of the divorce petition. And here's what it says. She has 20 days to respond. A phone call will not protect you, the summons read. Your written response, including the case number given above and the names of the parties, must be filed if you want the court to hear your side of the case. If you do not file your response on time, you may lose the case and your wages charges, money, and property may thereafter be taken without further warning from the court. You may want to call an attorney right away. If you don't know an attorney, you may call an attorney referral service or a legal aid office listed in the phone book.
Holy man, is that cold? Holy cow.
The man he's Northern Ireland cold. That's how cold this guy is.
God.
A blustery
Rory
day.
McIlroy?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And The Onion has a great story about WNBA life as treating Caitlin Clark. You want to hear it?
I want to hear all about this.
Dateline Indianapolis. Whipping his head around in a double take, local man Dean Wilson reportedly starstruck Tuesday after spotting Caitlin Clark with her Indiana Fever teammates at the Greyhound bus station. Wow, it's a good thing I snapped a photo of her at the vending machine or else no one would have believed me, said Wilson, who was stunned by his good fortune to spot the NCAA all-time leading scorer and WNBA #1 overall draft pick peeling the wrapper off a honey bun as she and the rest of the team waited for their bus to begin loading. It's not every day you see a celebrity at the bus depot. I would have figured the team would have sprung for something a bit fancier like a megabus, but what do I know? I can't wait to tell my parole officer about this.
Hanging around the bus station on parole. Well, we've all been there.
Sources confirmed that Caitlin Clark and the Fever had boarded their bus for their 18-hour journey to New York City.
Well, they do stop at the Hojo's. They do stop at Howard Johnson's on the interstate. And
29 flavors.
They go to Stuckey's. They stop at Stuckey's, get a couple of pecan rolls.
Yeah, got to get that. On this day in 1994, the Braves trade Deion Sanders to the Reds for Roberto Kelly and a minor league pitcher. I was sitting at the old Steamhouse Lounge in Buckhead with the late Jack Kennedy when the news broke. Everybody at the bar started applauding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
It was Neon Dion for a lot of that period back then. Instead of
1952, friend of the show Willie Mays entered the Army. The New York Giants promptly dropped 8 of their next 10 games. 1981, Billy Martin ejected for arguing balls and strikes. He then threw 2 handfuls of dirt on home plate umpire Terry Cooney's back. Week suspension. And in 1993, Jose Canseco's bad week got worse. 3 days after he was hit on the head by an eventual home run ball after it bounced off his noggin and over the fence.
It's a great video.
Canseco volunteered to pitch an inning in a 15-1 loss to the Red Sox. He blew out his elbow and had to have season-ending elbow surgery.
I remember, especially the home run off his head, literally bounced off his head over the fence.
And the funniest part of that video is him looking around like John Travolta in the meme, like, where'd the ball go?
I can't
Where'd
see
the ball go?
Oh,
there's
man.
sports.
And a quick birthday, Carmelo Anthony is 40 years old today. Is he still playing NBA? I think he just retired. And let's see, 2001, the Supreme Court ruled that pro golfer Casey Martin, who had a terrible leg disability, could use a cart in golf tournaments. Supreme Court said so. In 1962, I love to see him in baseball history shows and documentaries. Buck O'Neil Buck O'Neil becomes the first black coach in the majors when the Chicago Cubs give him a job in 1962.
One of the nicest gentlemen I ever got to meet. He was there for the Ken Burns documentary on Keith Collins and Jack's show one Saturday morning. He put his arm around my shoulder and said, "Young man, tell me about yourself."
He looks like the warmest guy. Everybody would want to be his next door neighbor or his dad or something. Modesto, California, 1965, a world record in the broad jump, 27 feet, 4 3/4 inches. Ralph Boston. Remember that name?
Yeah.
Ralph Boston. Here. Anyway, Kimber Peen Flounder, 531. We got all more coming up here in the truck. I remember that name.
If you love news and talk, you have to connect with the biggest personalities in the South at thepodcastpark.com. It's more original Atlanta content from Atlanta's hometown talk crew. From legal news to sports and politics, and even archives of interviews from years past. Find the podcast that you love and subscribe everywhere you get podcasts.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the Podcast Park. See you around, Atlanta.
Summer has arrived, and the month of June is jam-packed with great baseball and fun at Truist Park. The Atlanta Braves have 2 amazing matchups coming up, including the Tampa Bay Rays and Detroit Tigers June 14th through the 19th. Plus, there's 2 gate giveaways, including the kids' softball bow giveaway on the 16th and the belt bag giveaway presented by Truist on the 17th. Visit Braves.com/promos to purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Throughout the media, throughout our cultures, why aren't we having a serious discussion about the fact that maybe the most dangerous life form on the streets of America are young black males? It's not because they don't reflect a lot of light. It's not because of the way their hair looks. It is because of the culture that they were born into and the culture that they have adopted as their own. The people that talk about this aren't racists, they're culturalists. Why can't we have that conversation? Nobody will talk about it.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3.
Bob Dylan got in on the whole thing there in 1965. Our birthday list includes the would-be assassin John Hinckley, 69, the guy who shot Ronald Reagan in 1981, trying to impress that naughty little Jodie Foster. If you don't think, Hinckley's 69. And Anthony Geary. Do you know that name? You may not know that name. Flounder, you probably don't know that name. Anthony Geary?
I do not.
Pete, you know that name? He's 77 years old.
Hospital.
From General Hospital. And what was his little girl's name? Anthony Geary and the girl, and that girl, Lori, or God, I can't remember. They were the American couple. Yeah. They were, oh my God. I mean, this is back in the early late 70s, early 80s maybe. And they were America's couple. And he was not particularly good. He had kind of that perm look. He had one of the early perm looks.
Art Garfunkel.
Yeah, he looked like Art Garfunkel. And she was cute. I can't remember her name now, but God, I can't remember. Oh God, I hate this when I do this. But they were the couple. They were just absolutely.
Do you remember the story arc? They could never do it now.
Yeah.
He raped her in the soap opera.
Yeah.
And then they fell in love.
Yeah. At General Hospital. And this is, mercy. Oh, God, I almost had their names. I should have looked it up. I'm sorry, I should have looked it up. And while you do that, on this day in history, this was really kind of a bummer of a year, especially if you're a military fan or historian. 1932, the Bonus Army. The bonus army was a group of World War I veterans. Again, this is 1932 we're talking. The veterans and their families marched on Washington, D.C. to demand early payment of their service bonus certificates. The certificates were awarded to qualified veterans of World War I under a Compensation Act, but they were not supposed to be redeemed. They weren't supposed to get their certificates for their service until 1945. Well, in 1932, after the Depression, nobody had anything. So the so-called bonus army and their families marched on Washington saying, we would like to get paid now. After all, we did it in World War I. We'd like to get our money early because we've already done it. So you owe us, we'd like to get paid early. Many of the veterans were unemployed. Nobody was working. The Great Depression needed the money immediately. Well, the government attacked the World War I veterans with tanks, bayonets, and tear gas. And they attacked the veterans who wanted their money early and their families under the leadership of Douglas MacArthur, George Patton, and Dwight D. Eisenhower. One veteran was shot to death. Several veterans and policemen were wounded. And Congress then appropriated $100,000 in 1932 to send the protesters home, and they left. But it cost them, and again, Douglas MacArthur, Patton, Eisenhower.
Once again, the U.S. government lying to veterans and not taking care of them.
Yeah. And again, originally it was to say, well, we're going to give you something special for what you did, but we don't have it right now. But then, then they turned on them, and
they had it.
Yeah, they had it.
They just
they came up with it.
Okay, Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay, 1981, once-in-a-lifetime soap opera convergence, The Wedding of Luke and Laura.
Luke and Laura, that's
Laura.
who it was. Luke and Laura.
And her real name was Jeannie Francis, and she was cute as a button.
Yeah, she was.
And guess who was at the wedding, the soap opera wedding? Guess who was there in the crowd?
On the show? Or, in watching?
Yeah.
Or in watching in the audience, you mean?
No, there, at the wedding.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who was an actor or a famous person?
A cameo.
A cameo, famous person at the wedding of Luke and Laura.
Actress,
Jane Wyman, Ronald Reagan's wife.
Bigger.
Oh. Wow. At 81, Jane Fonda.
Bigger.
Oh, my goodness. Gina Lola Bridget. And I wouldn't be silly. Well, who's bigger in 1981? Elizabeth Taylor?
Come on.
Elizabeth Taylor?
Elizabeth Taylor.
No kidding. Oh, my God.
How big this thing was.
How cool is that? Luke and Laura. That's what it was in 1981. Yeah. Wow. I knew it was. Oh, cow. 540. Kevin, Pete, and Flounder. How's it going? Again, the jury deliberated till 4:30 today. They've gone back tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the Trump trial. Trump is also asking the High Court in New York to expedite its review of his gag order that was imposed by Mershon, the idiot judge in this case. Legal experts are debating what happens if Trump is convicted. Clearly, I don't believe there's any way they can keep him from running for president or for the polls opening in November if he is appealing. If he's convicted of something and he's appealing, then I assume if there's a verdict and not a hung jury. But again, they're debating all this stuff. And again, I can't imagine what's going on. There are two lawyers on the jury. There's no possible way these lawyers could allow any guilty verdict. Although with 34 counts, they're going to find something in there to convict him on. I mean, just because they're going to try to say, otherwise they're probably going to worry that their houses are going to get burned to the ground. I mean, oh my God, if that jury comes back with a not guilty on all counts, oh my God. What do you think the Democrats are going to do?
They always have a plan B, and it's always violent.
Well, George Floyd would be nothing compared to what this happens if Trump is found innocent and not guilty on all counts. Oh my God!
Oh, I don't think there'll be riots over this. I think the Democrats will start doing violent things, though.
Yeah, I no question about it.
If he wins the presidency, they're gonna tear this place apart.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they do. I hope a bunch of Democrats come at me sometime and try to give me in my face if I'm wearing a MAGA hat or an American. If I'm wearing a Marine Corps golf shirt like I do every freaking day, come at me and try to accuse me of being a white supremacist, accuse me of being a racist, accuse me of being bad for my government, accuse me of being a traitor to my country, accuse me of of the business of this Nazi business like they've been pulling off. Go ahead and try it face to face. Please, I'm begging you. God, God, please, I'm begging you. Please, dear God, please say amen. 542, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Okay, First Lady. Let's do the first. Well, not so. Everybody else has. Why not? But First Lady, the concubine queen, and the cuckold queen, Dr. Jill, the doctor, was on The View and bragging about. Listen to what she says about her husband and how wonderful he is and how sharp he is and why everybody should vote for him. Flounder, if you would, so the first.
I think the American people deserve a debate because you need to see your choices. You need to see Trump, and you need to see the president, and you need to see the differences. And my husband's, and you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has. And then you'll see somebody who, like you're saying, I'm going to use Joy's words, can't put a sentence together, and everything is beautiful, and it's wonderful.
Tremendous. Big league.
Yeah, tremendous. Yeah. So I think the American people deserve to see the two men who are running for this office, because your choice is going to be clear.
Yeah, the choice for chaos and evil, she complains. Also, she says, you're going to see how smart my husband is, and then you're going to see somebody who can't put a sentence together talking about Donald Trump. How does she have the balls to even say something like that out loud?
That's what they do. God. They always accuse the other side of what they're doing.
Oh, she just said, he's as smart as a whip. You know, he's got all. Oh, my God.
She's projecting.
This woman, and by the way, she said, this election is not about age, it's about character. You have to believe Trump when he uses, this is, they pull this again too. This is the First Lady of the United States. When he uses words like dictator, bloodbath, third term, and violence, we've seen it. When he says these words, believe him. Don't think this isn't going to happen. You dirty lying skank. You cheating skank. Dictator, bloodbath. He used the term bloodbath talking about the auto industry in Detroit compared to, he wasn't talking about a bloodbath of killing people after the election if he wins, which is what the Democrats claim he's going to do. If Trump wins, they claim he's going to kill his opponents. They actually said that out loud. I saw him on TV. Yeah. What he wants to do is he's going to be able to kill his opponents because they'll never get rid of him. I am so insulted by this, and I'm telling you, those are fighting words. You're asking for it. You're asking for it. And this woman has the balls to say that he's a dictator and bloodbath, violence. The Democrats are the ones that have been doing the violence against the American people. I'm so sick of this. I could freaking scream. The freaking liar. The biggest lies in the world. You're going to see somebody who can't put a sentence together talking about Donald Trump. I mean, the nerve.
Okay, of all the things to accuse him, they've never been able to accuse him of not being able to string English sentences together.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand any of this. And again, this is the woman who should have grabbed him by the neck when he got elected 4 years ago and said, "You won. It's over. You're going to go down in history. Congratulations. You're a one-term president. Let's set up the Democrat Party for the future. Do the best thing you can for the country, and we'll get the hell out of here." Instead, she's been encouraging him all along. He doesn't got the brains or the balls or the energy or anything else to pull this off. She's dragging him by the neck, and Puttitan's going, "Oh my God." I guarantee you, Barack Hussein Puttitan feels just like I do. He wanted her to say, "Okay, my God, you won. Now we're going to set up the Democrat Party in 4 years to see who takes over." Because you're too old. You can't do 2 terms. Are you kidding? I guarantee Puttitan agrees with me.
On an aside here, Bill has just sent me, he says, the shortest quiz in our history of the show for you and Flounder. You ready?
I'm ready right now.
What country's capital is growing the fastest?
Ukraine, probably.
Ukraine?
Or ours.
Flounder, what you got?
Oh, he was in the back there.
Sorry, what was the question?
What country's capital is growing the fastest in population?
Washington, D.C.?
London?
It's Ireland. Because every day it's doubling.
Oh my God! You've got to get that thing. You've got to get that list of stuff.
Terrible.
Oh Jim! Oh God! Oh God! Try 546. Hey, son. All right, that's it. I'm going.
Hey, it's Rhino from The Morning Extra, getting your weekday morning started from 6 to 10 a.m.
There are more Democrats moving to Georgia. The only time my wife ever gets upset with me is while I'm driving and I start cussing.
Like bad cuss words?
I mean, as bad as it gets.
JC, get off the road! Do you ever scream like, go home, carpetbagger?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good one.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
At Nelson Elder Care Law, we understand that family's everything. That's why we prioritize your family's future with personalized asset protection solutions. Call us today to schedule your legacy planning meeting and discover how our team can tailor our services to meet your family's unique needs, ensuring a secure and worry-free future. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
If you love news and talk, you have to connect with the biggest personalities in the South at thepodcastpark.com. It's more original Atlanta content from Atlanta's hometown talk crew. From legal news to sports and politics, and even archives of interviews from years past. Find the podcast that you love and subscribe everywhere you get podcasts.
Hey, it's the Kimmer. Look out. The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6, just like the Kimmer. By the way, a little update. Just this morning, I find out that my daughter Jennifer has now received the birthday card and special. I swear to God, I mailed it April 10th. I mean, I could have walked it over there in 6. I could have walked to Denver in 6 weeks. Seriously, I could have walked.
No, you couldn't.
I'll bet you I could do it. I'll bet you if they give me time. In fact, this will be great. Let's do a live expedition, the Kimmer's expedition to the final bucket list to probably kill me. And we'll do it live, and I'll do a remote like every afternoon. And you guys can do the show from here, and I'll have a live mic every afternoon, and we'll have as I'm walking to Denver.
Yeah. I want to see you walk across Mississippi and Arkansas in July.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
It's only 1,400 miles. Hey, the Beach Boys. Wake up dead. There you go. I love this song. The old Beach Boys.
Miranda, you look so fine.
Da, 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 da. Help me, Rhonda. Yeah, 1965, the Beach Boys started the 2-week run at number 1 with Help Me, Rhonda, their second number 1. It was interrupted in the recording session by the Wilson brothers' drunken father, Murray, who arrived at the studio to start criticizing the boys' enthusiasm. The recording reel continued to record the entire confrontation, which still circulates among people who have access to that kind of thing, about Daddy the Drunk interrupting the recording session for Help Me, Rhonda. I actually used that line once on a girl. Anyway, I'll tell you that story on a thing there. 550 can repeat and flounder. Well, let's see. Birthdays. Lisa Welshell, the Blair chick from the chubby little pretty blonde girl on The Facts of Life. Lisa Welshell is 61. Melissa Etheridge, 63 today. Let's see. By the way, now, Flounder, you said the guy who does the musical list is a married guy, American like married guy, right? Didn't you tell me that once?
Who is?
The guy who does the music, birthday list?
It's from a particular website I get, but they seem to pull it from, I don't know if it's Britain media or something like that. But
it sounds like it to me. But here's what he says about David Burtka. I don't know. David Burtka is 49. Quote, lucky bastard who gets to kiss Neil Patrick Harris anytime he wants. He was on How I Met Your Mother a few times anyway. So. Noel Gallagher, 57. Most of the songwriting for Oasis. He heard his brother and the other guys writing the songs, and he told them, quote, let me write your songs and I'll take you to superstardom or else you're going to rot here. I told him his brothers are doing the thing. Well, he was correct, apparently. And let's see, quick thing here. 1922, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 1922 that organized baseball was a sport and not a business, and therefore not subject to antitrust laws.
Yeah.
In 1922, that's insane. Quick, an airplane raced a train from Albany, New York to New York City in 1910. The plane won, and the pilot got $10,000. There was the old Wright brothers. The Wright brothers used to do this a lot. In Ohio, they had races. In Indiana, they were doing a lot in the Middle West too. Anyway, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 5:52. Let's see. Oh, a spelling bee is on. Were you a spelling? Did you ever do spelling bee stuff when you were growing up as a kid?
I lost the 4th grade. I came in second to Glenn Zitrar, and I missed laryngitis.
That's a tough word. Now,
spell it.
But you had. Well, I don't think I will if I don't feel like it. But you had. Well, I could probably do that in a minute. But you did have spelling contests and stuff growing up in school, right? Flounder, yeah. Did you have a thing in any kind of English class or something?
Yeah, I never went far in those contests, so I have to utilize the grammar check spelling today.
Well, they have. It's all new now. They have new rules. They've converted the spelling bee into a spelling and vocabulary competition. They have a finals format, so it's a 90-second spell off, so there will never be a co-champion. Some of the they say the 10 most brutal spelling bee words are soubrette, S-O-U-B-R-E-T-T-E, soubrette, albumin. Well, I can't even pronounce some of these things. I mean, it's insouciant, staphylococci, chair curist, autocurthurin, so whatever that means. The most commonly misspelled words for most Americans, just for most of us, are receive, accommodate, separate, and definitely, which are true. Separate or separate, I guess it's ATE. And by the way, the receive is that I before E thing. And I remember from, I think it was 4th grade, I before E except after C, or when it sounds like A as a neighbor and way, W-E-I-G-H. So if it's E-I, if it sounds like A, like a neighbor and way, it's E-I. Or in the following sentence, they will seize their weird, foreign air, H-E-I-R, for he has neither height nor leisure because he doesn't eat protein. That sentence came from, I think, Mr. Otis's class, 5-0, I think, Mr. Otis in 5th grade. I've never forgotten it.
Is this the same Otis the drunk that used to let himself
might have been the same guy. Mr. Otis did two things. Mr. Otis put Brill cream in his hair. God, I wish I had his hair. He had that beautiful Elvis ducktail hair. Oh my God, it was black, greasy hair. It was beautiful with Brill cream. And so I started using Brill cream and tried to have a duck's ass haircut, and my father wouldn't let me get away with it. And the other thing was he had taps on his shoes. He had teeny little metal taps, they called them, on the heels of his shoes. No, because back in the day, you did that to save your shoes. So the heel wouldn't wear down as much. And you could hear the clicking of walking down hallways of men having taps on their shoes to save the heels from wearing down in the 40s and 50s. I'm not making that up. Anyway. Oh, and the spelling bee, in fact, I always thought there was one famous example, and I remember the girl a couple of years ago where she was famous when they had the spelling bee. She would say, if like the word is dog, she would go, D. Oh! And she's like screaming out in a second. And my favorite thing was, I swear to God, this was a true story. I think I heard this where it used to be where the man would come out, the announcer. He would say, your word is rumfukalumbum. Rumafrupafrapapapabum? No. Rumfukalumbum. Can you give me a definition? Oh, yes. It's the mating ceremony of the Egyptian tiger moth. Rumfukalumbum. I'm sorry, off to the loser closet. Mommy, don't hit me, please. I'm sorry, I'll do better next time. These kids, I mean, honestly, these kids to me, and now it's all just a memory contest. There's no spelling bee anymore. No. It's a memory contest of memorizing every word that's ever been written. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I finally figured out what you are, Kimmer. You are a librocubicularist.
Well, it sounds familiar to me. What does that even mean?
A person who reads in bed.
Well, that's true. I read every night. I have several books on my nightstand, and I read from 2 or 3 of them every night before I turn out the lights. My God. I mean, surely, I feel, I guess they want to do it, but they just spend hours and hours every day for a year. And they're just memorizing every word that's ever been written. What's the contest?
What fun is that?
Well, it's just who's ever got the greatest memory. And in fact, I even looked up, I actually read a story. I Googled, used my Google machine to find out all the people, some of the recent winners or some years ago, and they were saying, one girl is now the head of surgery at a hospital. Well, yes, the spelling bee helped me organize my thought. And I was thinking, oh, please. It's a memory contest. The hours, the time that you've given up to memorize words, spelling, I don't get it. I think it's terrible. Let's see. Oh, remember the American Airlines people? The lawyers of American Airlines claimed that the 9-year-old girl should have known better when she went into the airline bathroom on an airline flight and found out there was a camera there, and one of the male stewardess was filming girls in the restrooms and their little boopity-boppities and stuff, and they caught him, and the father charged him, all this stuff. The American Airlines lawyers said, well, the girl's injuries were caused by her own fault and negligence. She used the airplane bathroom. She should have known or could have known there was a visible, illuminated recording device. It's her own fault. Well, the American public and the girl's family didn't think too much of that response by American Airlines, which has now fired their entire legal staff. Their whole legal team gone. They say, no, the kid is not, no, we do not believe the child is at fault. We take these allegations seriously. Of course, the guy's been fired and charged and arrested and stuff like that. But the original response by American Airlines was, well, she should have known. You have to expect it could have happened. It's really her own fault. 9. She was 9. Jeez.
Lawyers.
It's unbelievable. My God. 9. Yeah, well, hell, she shouldn't by 9. Hell, by 7 or 8, you ought to be expected that when you're flying on a plane at that age, all the time, like every week. Oh God! But first, little Nuckies Hoagies and flounder time here.
Women's social media. It's just a lot of beautiful underdogs. That's in a part of something very dramatic. The entire world's against them. Where they'll be like, when I began my journey. They're all on journeys, by the way, all around journeys. They're like, when I began my journey, no one believed in me. That's what these girls don't understand. It's not that no one believes in you. No one gives a about anything anyone is doing but themselves. No one's thinking about you. No one's going to bed at night being like, who's never going to open a small business? That bitch Jessica. Good night.
Who's that there, Flounder?
That's Neil Brennan for Nuckies Hoagies.
And Neil Brennan. We've had him before, I think it's for the Sub-Sisters with a Kipperfeed Flounder. And by the way, I got to go. You're killing me. But first, Braves, go Braves, and Pete Davis and Flounder tomorrow, and Neil Bortz and Shannon Burke. If the creek don't rise. Hoorah, gotta go. Sing me home, Christine. Look out.
This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Locally owned and heard throughout Georgia on the XTRA app.